Okay. Ah. Heart of the Woods, welcome back. Now, when we last left off, business certainly picked up. We, covered quite a bit of, story here. A chapter and a half, probably. We covered the entirety of Chapter 2. And hey, we left off here with Mads and Abigail here. And at the very core of the woods, where the spirit and Abigail, who saved Mads after she got put on ice. And now we've certainly met the spirit who is friend. The spirit turns its head to face Abigail, who smiles and pats its side. She says something to it, but I'm too far away to hear what. And then, as wordless as ever, the spirit rises and lumbers off into the forest without a second acknowledgement. Abigail watches it go. Then she turns and faces me with a bright smile.
So what did you think?
It's charming. Cute, almost. She has all the pride of a child with a new toy. I stare after the spirit, still barely visible between the trees.
I don't really know what I think.
It is quite a lot.
I'm part grateful, part terrified, part shocked. When I saw it before, I thought it had to be a monster or something. It just seemed so ferocious and huge that I assumed it was evil. So seeing it like that is weird.
It's certainly intimidating at first. When we first met, I was also rather fearful, but I quickly realized how kind and gentle it was, at least towards me.
Friend of the woods? Are you friend? Then it is friend to you. I'm still brimming with curiosity over Abigail's own history, but she's made it clear that she doesn't want to tell me yet, so I won't pester her about it.
Why wasn't it enormous this time?
It can make itself larger or smaller at will. The night that you saw it, it must have had a reason.
Oh.
And you're able to talk to it? And understand it?
Oh, no,
Not quite. I speak to it and it understands me, but it doesn't have any words or language. Some of its mannerisms I've picked up over time.
It's just purely vibes at this point.
We've had quite a long time to get to know each other, after all.
Understandable.
Right.
Abigail walks over and links her arm around mine. I startle at the touch, but more so how casual she is about it. She is thriving over being able to finally hold hands with someone.
Ready to go back to the church? Unless you'd rather stay here, in the forest. I imagine you'd be more comfortable with walls and a roof around you for now, though.
Yeah, I would be. Let's go back.
Arm in arm, she leads the way back. Oh. Sighed Morgan. I've been kinda concerned over the thought
God
of...
damn it.
Oh, hi, Tara. I've been very concerned over the prospect of Morgan and Tara gradually figuring out what happened to Mads. We're in Evelyn's private drawing room. Tara is kneeling in front of the back door, wiggling a paperclip around in the lock. It looks like she's never done this before.
Tara, let's go. This is a bad idea.
I'm not leaving till I get in here. She knows something about Maddie. I know she does.
Do they know she's missing? Possibly, if this is up to the same point in time that Mads is. I look around the room. I've been in here plenty of times, but never into the connecting study. Evelyn hasn't so much as opened the door to it with me in the room. I'm starting to regret telling Tara about it, though. If we don't get out of here...
I'm not disagreeing, but this isn't going to help. We need to...
Shit!
She hisses and pulls her hand away. Fingers are brilliant red and she holds them to her mouth. You good?
Are you okay?
I think it burned me. What the hell?
Oh, that's concerning.
Screw this. Let's just break the door down.
She takes a step back from it and looks as if like she's ready to kick it. With my hand on her shoulder, I really can't think of a worse idea right now. She'll just end up hurting herself.
Listen to me. We have to get out of here. Trust me.
She doesn't move to kick the door, but she also doesn't seem to have heard what I just said.
If she hurt Mads, I'll kill her.
Tara vibrates in my hands. In this state, there's no telling what she'd do if I weren't here to stop her. She'd probably be lighting a fire in the corner of the room or something by now. Can't let her get hurt anymore, though. I can't let anyone else get hurt.
Listen, Tara. I've tried to force it open before. I think she has some kind of ward on it. No matter what we do, I don't think we're getting in there.
I'm not sure what Tara hopes to find in there anyway. Even if it is locked, I doubt Evelyn is arrogant enough to leave any real clues lying around in there.
There has to be some way in. There has to. We'll get at that office and we'll find out where she took Mads. I don't care how much weird magic bullshit Evelyn's got. We're gonna rescue Mads.
She still hasn't given up hope that Maddie's alive. I wish I could share her optimism. All I can feel is guilt. All of this was my fault. If I'd never asked them to come here, no one else would have been hurt.
Tara, we need to go. Whatever burned you probably alerted Evelyn. She could be on her way right now.
No, we can't give up now. Mads needs us.
Tara, we need to consider the possibility that...
Tara wheels toward me and grits her teeth. I can't tell if any of the anger she's feeling now is for me. If it is, I can't blame her. She hasn't been willing to face the truth of the situation, but she has to face it eventually.
Then what, Morgan? That she just killed my friend? Do you seriously think she'd do that to Mads just for looking around the woods?
Yes, I do.
My voice is colder than I meant for it to be. I instantly wish I could take it back, but she still doesn't understand. I get that she doesn't want to face the idea of Maddie being dead, but she can't ignore the danger we're in. Look in Tara's eyes, however, says this isn't helping right now.
I'm sorry. You're right. We don't know for sure yet. But we can talk about this later. Right now, we really need to...
Behind me, the door to the room slowly creaks open. My heart stops. I can't move. I can't turn around. I already know what I'm going to see.
Good morning, Morgan. Tara.
Hello there. Instantly, I dash between Evelyn and Tara. Nothing good can come from these two being in the same room together. Especially not in this state. I have to keep them apart. Evelyn just laughs. Just the sound of her voice makes me want to run, but I can't.
You both seem so on edge. I'm sorry you don't seem to find my drawing room as relaxing as I do. Maybe it's time for some redecorating. How would you feel about a more earthy palette?
That smile. She crosses the room to the window and leisurely picks up one of the curtains, pretending to examine it. I can feel Tara behind me seething and getting angrier by the second.
No opinions? You come into here uninvited, and you'd think you could at least pretend to be polite.
Now she glares at me. I can feel the temperature in the room drop instantly. I used to think it was something that was just in my head. I've changed my mind about it recently. It really is getting colder.
You never could, though, could you? You never could play along. Always so obstinate. You have to fight every step of the way. Just like when you were young. Always cutting your own hair short. Because nothing was ever good enough for you. The clothes I bought, the food I made, and you had to control just one thing.
That feels more meaningful now that we have the clear impression that Evelyn here is very much up to something malicious. Now that we have more evidence to support Morgan's story, that Evelyn is very much grooming Morgan to be her next vessel of sorts. That was a deal that Morgan revealed to Tara last stream. Last episode here. A rush of heat and cold crawl beneath my neck. A rush of shame. Evelyn's mouth twists slightly, just enough into a smile, and she breathes a freezing laugh of pride.
When was it you realized you couldn't even hold scissors anymore? And you ran around town begging someone to cut your hair.
What?
No wonder no one else ever wanted imagine that's why you had to look all the way overseas to make a friend.
That's terrifyingly cold. She shoots a glance at Tara, baring her fangs in a grin. She's not even trying to hide what she is. That is an utterly terrifying statement there. When did you realize you couldn't hold scissors anymore? What did you do to Morgan?
And well, look what happened to them.
That's too much for Tara. She's been quiet this whole time, maybe from the same fear that gripped me, but now she steps forward. I held up my arm to prevent her from getting too close.
What the hell did you do with Maddie?
Evelyn turns back around to the window, barely acknowledging Tara at all, and stares out at absent-mindedly.
You know, the forest is a very dangerous place. Every year, it seemed, there would be a new death. Someone would go missing in the winter. We wouldn't find them until the spring thaw.
She turns around. The look on her face is so placid and empty. Never seen anyone so completely devoid of empathy.
That's why they're off limits now. That's why we have the curfew. There hasn't been a death like that in almost 10 years. Something we are very proud of.
She turns back to Tara again and takes a step forward. Somehow the room seems to get even colder as she does.
That is, until your friend. It's honestly frustrating that she would ruin our record so selfishly.
Oof, that's cold.
I wonder if she had any idea of the headache she was going to cause me.
That is cold. Yo, Red. How's it going tonight? It's going pretty cold so far. How are you doing? She shakes her head. She's smiling again.
Enough of the bullshit.
Things are just about to explode. AKA right now. Don't know if you were around for last stream where poor Maddie got put on ice. And we are right about at the point in time where Tara and Morgan. Tara is A, finding out, and B, coming to terms with it.
Mads wouldn't go out there and get herself lost. She wouldn't. She's way too cautious for that. You did something to her and you're gonna tell me, or I swear to God.
Oh. Evelyn looks up. Her smile is gone and her eyes are as sharp as her fangs. Tara goes silent the moment those eyes are on her. I'm shivering now. I pull my arms close to my body. Was she fucking around before she found out? She certainly was. She didn't realize she was fucking around, but she certainly did find out that Miss Evelyn here had malicious intent. Just look at that face. Rookie mistake. Just look at that face. Does this look like the face of mercy to you, Red? The air seems to crackle with ice. I try to take a step backwards, but Tara won't budge. Not sure if it's out of anger or fear.
I've been so patient with you, Morgan. Endlessly patient. With you and your friends. A mother's patience never wears thin. But then, I never was much of a mother, was I?
No, don't!
Oh, shit. Tara is raised in the air, bound by an invisible force. A look of fear spreads across her face. Speaking of fuck around and find out, well, we have problems now. Reach out my hand, but it's too late. Behind me, Tara slowly rises in the air.
What? Morgan, help! What's happening?
We are in danger, my dear. Her eyes are wide with terror. Tears well up in her eyes. I have to do something.
Please, don't! You don't have to!
Evelyn's mouth shifts slightly to one side. She looks so disinterested. She doesn't even take pleasure in it. She barely notices us and what we feel.
How many years did I give you the carrot, Morgan? How many? Eventually, you'll have to learn.
And just like that, Tara shoots backwards and slams into the wall. So hard, the whole room shakes. Yeet. Oh god. She crumbles to the ground in a heap. She's not moving. Evelyn doesn't move as I run to Tara and lean down to look at her. She's awake, still twitching. Jesus, that...
Don't move! Just stay still! You'll be okay!
Well then, please make sure you put everything back where you found it. The maids have enough work as it is.
Good God. My heart starts beating faster. The heat of the nape of my neck spreads down my back. But instead of the hollow pit in my stomach that's supposed to follow, I feel my shoulders stiffen. My breathing gets slower, more controlled. It's just my vision start going dark. I feel myself biting down on my own lip. Down and see that my fists are clenched so tightly my knuckles have gone white. For the first time, I don't feel any fear. Morgan's fucking pissed. Just hatred. With that, she turns away. The room instantly returns to its normal temperature, but I'm still freezing. Her heels click on the hardwood and get quieter as she leaves. She stops at the door.
Have a lovely day, girls.
Step on Legos. Evelyn disappears and the door slams shut behind her. I still can't move. Is it until Tara lets out a loud groan that I snap back to my senses?
Are you okay? Did she break anything?
I don't think so.
Can you stand?
Makes it halfway up before stumbling. I grab her and throw her arm over my shoulder. She winces and lets out a tiny whimper.
Let's get back to the house. I've got a first aid kit there.
As long as I get to lay down, we can go wherever you want.
Of course. You can use my bed. Come on.
What a superb villain theme, by the way. Indeed. Hello. That combined with Evelyn's expressions that she gives off in this scene, very, very chilling. How's it going, Lilac?
I think you're gonna have to take the lead on this one.
Understandable. Tara just got yeeted into a wall. She's not feeling so well. It's cold and elegant refinement. It's perfect for Evelyn, indeed. Tara does her best to help me get her up the stairs, but whether it's due to injury or shock, she's barely able to stay standing while leaning on me. Climbing a staircase is difficult, but at the moment, there really isn't anywhere else I can take her. Oh, hi. Gilladura? When I open the door to my room, Gilladura is in the center of the bed, cleaning her paws contemplatively. She doesn't look up at us.
Come on. Let's get you on the bed.
I half expect Tara to give me some kind of knowing look as she stumbles over to the bed, but she doesn't. She just nods weakly. Tara is having a time. Tara collapses face first over the side of the bed. Gilladura doesn't even budge as it shakes with the weight. She acts like she doesn't even notice.
Teledora, move please.
No response. She just continues slowly raking her tongue over her paws. Ever since Tara and Maddie got her, she's been particularly obstinate. I wish I knew why. It's hard not to be frustrated with her, especially with everything that's happened today, but I do my best to just gently force her to move by climbing onto the bed next to Tara. Oh. Gilladura finally looks at me, paw held indignantly in the air.
There's plenty of room on the floor.
Oh, hi! Tara shoots back up, yelping and almost knocking me over. She doesn't seem to notice, as she just stares down at Gilladura with wide eyes. That's one big cat. Hey, it's perspective here.
Did your cat just talk?
Gilladura cranes her neck around to look at Tara, and then speaks again.
No.
Her voice is languid and drips out of her mouth like syrup. Tara's eyes dart back from the cat to me, to the cat again, hoping for some kind of concrete response. Just dripping with sarcasm, that reply. Love her voice. Me too.
Yeah, I told you.
Her face lights up with newfound energy. The lines of pain that had creased it disappear in an instant.
I knew it! I knew I could trust you! Sure, it was weird that you didn't actually talk, but I get it. Shy around strangers. That's valid, and also, big mood.
Big mood indeed.
But I knew it. I knew you weren't lying.
I smile. After everything we've been through together, part of me feels warm when she says that. Aw. My chest glows with the warmth I've only felt around Tara. After everything, it should be so obvious that she believes me. But Tara's sincerity catches me by surprise every time. Gilladura doesn't seem to find it as endearing. She rises methodically, then paws toward the foot of the bed. I'm worried about her. Every month she's gotten more and more cat-like. This was the first time that she didn't even speak at all. And we're so close to the full moon now. She's not going to get much stronger than this. Can't but wonder how much time she has left. Means that she was doing a bit of trolling back in the antiques shop. Yep, pretty much. Galadora, please talk. No, I don't feel like it.
How are you feeling?
She looks up at me with her bright blue eyes, alive with magic and intelligence.
I feel hungry.
Oh.
Did you bring me food, Morgan? I don't think you did.
Honestly, gaslight, gatekeep, girl, cat, boss, yeah. She stares at me. The expression on her cat face is unreadable.
I didn't. I'm sorry, Galadora. It's been a difficult morning.
As your friend says, big mood. Morgan looks to Tara.
You don't have anything, do you?
I think I have a melted chocolate bar in my pocket, but can magical talking cats eat chocolate?
Galadora regards Tara silently, her white tail swishing slowly across the bed sheets. Then, without saying anything or giving any other indication of her intentions, she turns and hops onto the windowsill.
Galadora, wait.
Where are you going? She turns her head back to me and gazes into my eyes. I feel like I'm being measured. I always feel that way around her.
No. You wait.
She turns away and sways her tail lazily.
I will be back.
And with that, she leaps from the window to the branches of the nearby tree. She slips through them like a rush of white water until she's gone from sight. Tara and I sit there quietly for a few minutes before she finally speaks.
Your cat is weird.
Big mood.
Yeah, a little.
Tara smiles. Morgan smiles back and the two sit together. Galadora's gone for hours. I need to talk to her. Things have changed so much today. I think she'll know what to do. I hope she will. In the meantime, I tend to Tara. She protests at first, saying she's fine. I don't doubt she thinks that, but I want to confirm that for myself. Eventually, I'm able to convince her to let me look. Her back is essentially one giant bruise. But that's it. Doesn't look like anything was broken, at least. It's a relief, but maybe we were just lucky. Maybe next time Evelyn will do worse. There's no telling what she's capable of. And I can't let anyone else get hurt.
So what's the deal with
Ooh.
Gelato?
Gelato. I open my mouth to speak, but before I can, Tara cuts me off.
I mean, I know she can talk. Please don't say she can talk. You're gonna say she can talk, and I'm seriously asking you don't. I want to know what her deal is. Promise me you won't say she can talk.
I promise I won't say she can talk.
Tara nods. She can speak.
Her name is Galadora.
Tara stares at me for a second before we both laugh.
Okay. Her name is Geldorado.
Okay.
But, like, why can she talk? I've met a lot of weird cats, but none of them could actually talk.
Understandable.
Well, it's because she's not really a cat.
Of course.
Tara tries her best to sound like she completely understood the situation now, but it's obvious she hasn't. Take a deep breath.
Galadora isn't a cat. She's a fairy. I don't know a lot more than that. I know Evelyn cursed her to be in that form. Her memories are hazy, though, and it's only been getting worse. She wasn't always like this. She's been around as long as I can remember. She only started talking to me when I was 12, but even back then, she's forgetting she was ever a fairy. I'm worried that soon she's not going to be anything other than a house cat.
Ah yes, magic, the good old catification. Tara nods, seemingly taking everything in, and then she's quiet a moment, thinking about it. Fairies are real?
She doesn't really
Fairies
seem
are real?
that helpful.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I nod my head sadly.
She used to be. I'd have never known anything about what Evelyn was without her.
I mean, of course not. I think with Evelyn being Evelyn, I'm pretty sure we've established that fairies are quite real. I bite my lip.
For a long time, she was my only friend. She was the only one I could really trust.
If I had a nickel for every time I saw a fairy turn into a cat, I'd have 1 nickel. Hey, that's... You treasure that nickel, Red.
I still believe in her. I still believe she can help.
I look away. Even if I'm telling her my story, there's still so much I'm not ready to share about growing up here. Don't know if I'll ever be ready.
I know it sounds like I was just a lonely little kid looking for a friend. but I promise she has the knowledge we need in there somewhere.
Tara starts to lean toward me while letting out a grunt of pain as she moves. I go to push her back down into bed, but before I can do that... Oh, her arms wrap around me. She gives me a gentle squeeze, and I lean into her in response. I want to hug her too, but I know that wouldn't be doing her back any favors. So I sit there and let her hold me, try to take refuge in it, and try to remember that I'm not alone.
You don't have to make excuses. I believe you.
Oh.
And I'm sorry you had to grow up like that.
It could not have been easy growing up with Evelyn.
It's their loss that they didn't stick around to see how cool you turned out to be.
Heck yeah, she pulls back and grins at me. That same goofy grin I've seen hundreds of times before. But it's so much better in person than it was on a screen. And it's exactly what I need right now. Oh. She is preciously endearing. Tara and I wait out the day watching dumb videos on the internet, trying to take our minds off of things, if only for a moment. They take longer to buffer than to watch. It's dark by the time Galadora slips back through the window. She's quiet, but even if I hadn't seen her, I'd still know she was there. Something about the air in the room changes when she enters it, the same as Evelyn. Galadora thinks that they were close once. She doesn't know how, but I believe her.
Hello, Galadora.
Meowdy!
Yeah. Morgan stops slightly at Tara's greeting.
How's your hunting?
She looks at me, and if ever a cat could give a self-satisfied grin, I swear she would be right now. Her voice seems to luxuriate in it.
It was good, Morgan.
Morgan and Abigail have both lived crushingly long lives. Indeed, in their own ways. Crushingly lonely lives, in their own ways, yes.
Much better than your hunt this morning.
Jumps into my lap and rubs her head against my hand. Oh.
How does she know about that?
I know much about Evelyn.
Oh, she's feeling talkative now. As the kids say, big mood. I need to get some food inside me before I feel like talking. Her voice is deep as stone and rumbles in her throat with a purr. She stops rubbing on my hand for a moment and looks up at me.
And Evelyn knows everything about you. What did you think would happen, cursed child?
I hate when she calls me that. I spent years dealing with it looming over me. Last thing I want is her rubbing it in. Even more, I hate that she's right. I should have known this would happen. I should have kept Tara from going into the office. Never imagined Evelyn was that strong. Tara's paying the price for my failure.
Evelyn is as good a hunter as any cat. She'll never let her prized vessel out of her sight. She's watching you even now, Morgan.
Oh, that's
And
terrifying.
when the moon is full, she will finally strike.
And then, still in my lap, she curls up and closes her eyes. I'm not going to get any more out of her tonight. Tara doesn't say anything for a while. She looks contemplative even. When she does speak, she asks the question I knew she would.
Why'd she call you cursed?
I wish I could lie. It would be the first time I've ever wanted to lie to someone other than Evelyn, but I can't. Tara deserves to know what she's involved in.
Because I am.
Tara just stares at me, half in shock. She quietly waits for me to continue. I hesitate a moment before continuing, regardless.
Evelyn is not my real mother. My real mother died before I was born. And whatever Evelyn is, she took her body. She's done it to our family for years. Galadora and I pieced it together from town records and scraps of my mother's diary. Every couple decades, she has to change hosts. And
I look into Tara's eyes. This is the first time I've ever told all this to anyone.
And you're next.
Tara says the words I don't want to. I nod.
Evelyn's going to make her move on the night of the full moon. That's what Galadora says.
I close my eyes. I know she's right, but I don't want to admit it, even to myself. The full moon is so close. Then I feel a hand grip tight on my own. I open my eyes and I see Tara staring back into them. That is horrifying. And she grew up, no doubt, once she's gotten to know Galadora and pieced together what's up with her mother. She's living the last few years knowing this was coming. That is a cripplingly lonely fate. Just pit of despair. And I feel a hand grip tight on my own. I open my eyes and I see Tara staring back into them.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And, like, it's really hard for me to know what to say here, but thank you for telling me. We're gonna stop Evelyn, and if it has to be before the moon is full for whatever reason, then we'll do that and we'll save Mads. We'll stop her, I swear.
She's smiling, so big and so broad, and she sounds so damn confident, I want to believe her. More than anything, I hope she's right. For the first time in my life, I want to trust someone. And Maddie time. Oh, good morning. I'm starting to get used to it, just a little bit. Done my best to keep a regular human schedule as much as I can. Going to bed at night and oh my god, it's Freya! Oh my goodness. Hello, Freya. Welcome, Freya and Viking party. How was your Odyssey today? Freya time. Hey, Freya. Hey, yo. Should totally check out Freya. How was the Odyssey today? Not staying need to say, hey, Tuxie. Come to bid you well, thank you. Hope all is well. I was going to say I was poking in at the Odyssey earlier, but seemed like things were going about as well as possible. Hello, hello. We are indeed deep in the woods. Freya got badly poisoned. Oh no. It's never a good time. That was a sign from the universe that it was time to make camp and take a rest. Understandable. Understandable indeed. So yeah, anyways, we are finding out some messed up stuff about these girls in the woods. So we just came off of this sort of thing here. We have Maddie here, who's getting used to being a ghost. Abigail, who's been in these woods as a ghost for hundreds of years. Tara just got yeeted into a wall. And Morgan, who's grown up in this town, yeah, has been raised by her mother's killer, wearing her mother's body like a skin. Has always been planning to steal her own body. It's a very, awfully bleak situation we are all in. Morgan has been living with the knowledge that she is going to die as her mother's killer just takes her body for herself. It's, it's things in Eisenfeld. Things in Eisenfeld are really, we are having a time here in the woods, let's just say. So, yes, poor Mads here is a, it's a cute and calming romance visual novel with talking cats and cute ghosts, and totally nothing messed up happening whatsoever. Like, we are still dealing with the aftermath of, it's just what happens in little country towns. Yeah, you go to a country town to investigate some supernatural stuff, and next thing you know, you're dead in the woods and becoming a ghost, and getting to know a cute ghost girl who's hundreds of years old. And your best friend is getting to know poor girl who's been grown up in this town completely alone under the thumb of her mother's killer. And it's just, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Yeah, not quite anything has changed. Hunger or not, I'd kill for a cheeseburger or something, though. Don't know what I'd do without Abigail. She's never far from my side, and she's my anchor through all this. Endlessly supportive and positive. That she views my circumstances, well, differently than I do. That she enjoys having me here, but I can't fault her for that. I still can't fathom the depth of the loneliness she's felt. Nothing but a silent tree spirit for company. Also, there's a giant silent tree spirit in the woods here. Days that we've spent together have been pleasant enough, but I still don't want to accept this fate. I can't. I rise from my spot on the stone floor. Sunlight pours through the stained glass windows of the church, and has been for some time now. There hasn't been much snow since the storm that I was caught in. All of my time has been spent here in the church, or exploring the woods with Abigail. I try to see the charm in some of the places she's taken me, but they all feel the same. Trees and rocks and snow in varying combinations. The forest may be huge, but it's stifling in how repetitive it all feels. I keep hoping that Tara or Morgan might come by, so I could at least see them, even if they can't see me. So far, they haven't. I look around the church, expecting to see Abigail waiting like usual, but she's nowhere to be found. I can hear her, though, from just outside the church, singing. I move through the doors to watch. Oh? Here she is. Just a few feet away, she stands with her back to the church and me. Her arms outstretched, but not fully. She sways softly as she sings. And God, how she sings. Her voice has a lifting cadence, and not even the wind dares interrupt or quiet her. It's unreasonably beautiful. The kind of voice that if you heard it on the radio, you'd have to pull out your phone to see who you're listening to. To think I get my own private concert like this. She faces the sky, and I don't need to be able to see her face to visualize the smile that I can hear in her voice. The song she's singing is wordless, but still beautiful. I wonder if it's something she came up with herself. Imagine her spending years playing with the melody. Maybe she's just making it up as she goes along. I notice then that I'm not the only one watching. A small flock of half a dozen or so birds crowd around her feet, watching in rapt attention. They hop around, occasionally cheeping to join in. Cheep, cheep. She waves a hand and they flutter about, never perching on her, but never leaving either. From the trees, just barely peeking out, a young deer observes as well. Isn't close enough for her to touch, but close enough for me to count the spots on its belly. It's just like something out of a cartoon, where she's the fairy tale princess who's friends with all the wildlife. I was just gonna make that reference. Thank you for doing that for me, game. What if it's because of her in particular? If the animals don't feel threatened just because we're spirits, not flesh and blood? All too soon, it's over. Her voice fades away without wobbling, and the birds instantly disperse. The deer bounds back into the woods, invisible. She turns to face me.
Good morning, Madison.
Good morning. I'm blushing, and I don't know why.
Good morning. That was amazing.
She's got the feels.
Thank you. I hope I didn't wake or disturb you.
Nah, not at all. Besides, if I'd known, I'd have gotten up early just to hear more.
It's understandable, yeah.
Aw, you're flattering me.
No way, not at all. I mean it. You have a beautiful voice.
Shockingly, there are cute romantic moments between the horrible circumstances we're in. We are now in that, so we have achieved cute romance, VN. These are the girls in love who will live happily indeed. They will indeed live happily forever, because they're both ghosts. Now she's blushing, too.
Thank you.
How did you learn to do that without scaring away the animals?
It wasn't really a matter of learning. It just happened naturally, over time.
And, oh boy, did she have a lot of time. I mean, Abigail described their situation as sort of in between life and death, so whatever this state is between life and death, they are.
I sing for myself, first and foremost. I think eventually they realized that I wasn't a threat.
Love Abby's smug, playful smile. Me too. It's me too. It's.
It seems like they were enjoying the show too.
It's quite the compliment if even the birds like my song.
There was a deer too. You might not have seen him though. He was kind of hiding in the bushes.
Oh, was he? I'll have to introduce you next time. He's quite friendly too.
Oh, you know him?
Really? You know him?
Most likely. I suppose it could have been a new deer. I'd have to see him to know for sure.
I'd imagine him keeping track, huh?
Nowadays, there are these things called petting zoos, where you can pay money to walk around and pet tame animals, like deer and sheep and pigs. I've never heard of them just making friends with people, though.
I'd imagine they could. I mean, a number of times I've gone walking in a park or something and just have a crowd of deer walk by, just look at you, and just not be threatened whatsoever, just chilling. They will eventually bolt if you get too close, but you can get fairly close and just kind of linger, and they'll just hang out and chill. Deer are shockingly chill in most circumstances.
That sounds marvelous. Have you ever been to one?
Not since I was a lot younger. They're mostly for kids.
Adults in the modern world sound awfully boring in that case.
You don't know the half of it, Abigail. Abigail walks to my side, standing close like she always does. What if it's intentional? Oh, it's intentional, girl. Together we face the forest. She touches my arm, so lightly that I wonder if that's intentional too. Oh, it is.
If you're feeling up for it, there's some place I'd like to show you, here in the forest. It's one of my favorite spots.
Of course, lead on. I'd love to see anything that you think is special.
Besides, it's not like I have anywhere else to be. I refrain from saying that out loud. I am genuinely interested in what she wants to show me. I like spending time with Abigail, but I hope that she'll also be willing to answer some more of my questions now, too. Having fun together is nice, but it just feels like a distraction from the matter at hand. Speaking of hands, Abigail takes mine ever so gently.
Let's go then.
Yes, let's go. We take off at a brisk pace, but the distance falls away faster than normal. I'm borne along by her boundless enthusiasm, and surely more than a little magic. Trees fly by at a blur, impossibly fast. It's like being on the train again. Like snowflakes, they melt into my vision faster than I can really notice. That blush. The speed is some gift of the forest, I imagine. A consolation for what it's done to me. My footsteps are formless against the snow. We're walking in the air. It's the same as when I first met Abigail. That feels like an eternity ago. For at least a couple hours more, I try to push those thoughts away so I can enjoy whatever it is she wants to show me. I want to enjoy this, for my own sake. For her sake, too. Getting used to eternity has to be terrifyingly foreboding. I have trouble thinking of anything other than her. The gentleness of her grip, the light and joyful way she moves across the ground, the certainty with which she pulls me forward. Every so often she turns around to make sure I'm still there, though I'm sure she's very aware of our interlocked fingers. I know that I am. Guess I can add that to the ever-growing list of feelings to sort through. Indeed! The forest shifts even faster than it did a few days ago when we went to visit the spirit. It changes too fast for me to keep track of any reference points. If I try to focus on one spot for too long, I get a little dizzy. So I stop focusing on that and just go with the flow. Eventually, Abigail slows our pace, and the passing of the forest reverts to a normal rate as well. At first glance, it seems like any other part we visited, but when I look closer, I start to notice small differences. Some trees are devoid of snow, while piles of it beneath them, as if someone brushed them clean. Oh, others are decorated with strange, paint-like streaks of color, mostly blue, but some are white. On other trees, icicles dangle from the branches and give off a strange glow. When I approach to examine one, the glow dims. Abigail pays it no mind. This must not be strange to her either. I hurry to catch up, though she's only gotten a few steps away.
We're almost there. It's just up ahead.
Through the trees, I can already see where she's taking me. Splashes of brilliant pink peek out just ahead, mostly obscured by the barren brown trees. I don't even have time to be curious about what they are before we arrive. Whoa. Whoa. A splendid grove of colorful trees spreads out before us, surrounding a small pond that must be enchanted. The leaves that hang from the trees are same in pink, flecked with flickering lights. Lavender bushes crowd their bases, sparkling with dew or magic. While snow covers the ground all the way up to the shores of the pond, the trees themselves are devoid of it, much like the forest spirit's home. I wonder if the two are related somehow. Even more remarkable, though, is that the pond itself is also unfrozen. Its glassy surface is smooth, save for the occasional ripple that spreads across. It's small enough that I can see clear across to the other side. It makes this place feel even more secret and hidden. You could wander the forest for years and never stumble across it. I move slowly towards the water. This place deserves calmness.
Oh, Abigail. It's beautiful.
It really is. Not gonna lie. The water laps at my feet, though remains undisturbed. Like a vampire, I have no reflection, a fact that I pointedly try to ignore.
Where are we? What makes this place so special?
This is one of my favorite places. Isn't it lovely?
Quite.
As for what makes it special...
Her eyes twinkle conspiratorially.
Fairies.
Uh-huh. There's a beat of silence. I feel like I should be surprised at her answer, but I'm not. It's the smug smile with the half-lidded eyes. I love that. She knows exactly what she is doing. And I love that. After everything I've seen, fairies are downright mundane. I remember her mentioning them before, too. I look around, wondering if I've missed them hiding somewhere, but I don't see anything. Abigail laughs.
Just as decorators. They aren't around right now. They much prefer the nighttime. They're far more active in the moonlight.
They sleep.
You can still see traces of them, though.
As an example, she cups one of the icicle-like baubles that hang from the trees. Inside, a faint light beats like a heart, dim enough to be invisible in the daytime. Are they Disney fairies or Grimm fairies? Good question. There is a cat who's a fairy. You did miss that. Yes, the rumored talking cat finally did talk to us. And we did find out that Morgan's cat is in fact a fairy. Yelladura.
I'm sure they're around, watching. But I've only met them once myself. It may be years before you do.
There it is again. The promise of eternity spent like this. I bite my lip.
I think that's okay with me. I've had enough magic for 1 week.
Yes, understandable.
I'm still trying to get used to this idea of there being years left here. Terrifying prospect. She walks back to the shore of the pond and sits down. I take a seat beside her.
Really, though, thank you for bringing me here. It's nice.
I'm glad. I wanted to show you that not everything about it is bad. That Unlife does have its own little moments of niceness.
Unlife. They're living together for the rest of their unlife. She's trying. I look at her, but she's staring pointedly away towards the pond. Her cheeks redden a little bit.
Unlife is a good word for it.
Quiet.
Do you think so? I worried, before you woke up, that I would have forgotten how to speak, or forgotten words. I talked myself to keep in practice, waiting for a day when I would meet someone again.
Keep in mind, Fred, that this girl spent hundreds of years by herself in unlife in these woods. No one to talk to. No one to talk to, no one to hang out with. Just here in these woods, by her lonesome, with the birds and the deer to keep her company.
That's also why I sing, so that I don't forget how much I enjoy it, even if nobody listens. I know that it's silly, but sometimes a bit of silliness can be what helps me keep going.
Understandable.
I don't think it's silly at all. Besides, if I could sing like you, then I'm sure I'd do it all the time too.
She's doing pretty well for someone who went hundreds of years without talking to another person, indeed. What can I say? She's had a lot of time to practice.
I could teach you if you'd like.
Oh no, you don't know what you're getting into. I'm pretty sure I'm unteachable when it comes to singing. You'd have birds flying miles away instead of coming to listen.
Hey, you never know, Mads. You might develop your own magic here. That's like a microphone Kirby types of magic powers here. I have an embarrassing confession. This whole time I've been thinking, this is a very grim backstory for an anthropomorphic park. That's the wrong game. Yes. This is not National Park, girls. There are no national parks here. We are off in Germany or Norway or somewhere. Somewhere off in remote village in Europe somewhere, where it is nice and cold and lonely. A woods is like a park, indeed. There be magic here, but there is no anthropomorphic parks here. I must have been feeling terribly confused then. The Anthro what? Yes, there's another game by also by Studio Élan called National Park Girls, which is about park ranger meets very cute anthropomorphic national parks. There are stranger things out there, but understandable. No anthropomorphic parks here. Just some very, very sad, very lonely girls. She laughs.
Come now, I'm sure it can't be that bad. I knew nothing of singing when I first started. I simply practiced and practiced.
Oh, the different studios? Oh no.
It's better with practice and time.
My singing voice has got to be the one exception.
My middle school choir teacher even told me there was no way I would ever be a singer. It was one of the most traumatic days of my 12 short years back then.
In
Oof.
all of existence?
Out of everything.
Oof.
In
Oof.
that case, I suppose I must hear it, just to know. You can't promise something like that and then not demonstrate.
No way. Not happening.
Do it, Mads. You know, do it.
What if we sang a duet?
Let's do it.
Definitely not.
Duet time. Duet time. Come on, Mads.
Oh, you're no fun.
You're alone in the woods. Who's gonna hear you? She playfully swipes my shoulder.
Are there any instruments? Any that I've heard of, that is?
Oh, that's it.
Piano. I've taken lessons since I was a little girl.
Ooh.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I miss it.
I flex my fingers, staring down at them, remembering the feeling of keys. Even before coming out here, it has been a while since I played. That is a very cruel thing for a teacher to say to a young kid. Oh, God. You'll never be a singer. You suck. Very, very cruel, yeah. I don't think I ever consciously stopped. It just happened over time. I mean, that is Mads' dilemma here. Like, she put so much of her life on hold for Terranormal.
Most of the time, the only music I'd have the opportunity to listen to was during prayers, or the occasional traveling performer. Sometimes I'd convince Mr. Braun, who played the organ, to show me some of the pieces he'd learned in the city.
Mr. Braun. He says it with a sly smile, sharing some private little joke with me.
Do you remember the names of any of the pieces? I wonder if I've heard of them.
Oh yes, there was...
She bites her nail, thinking about it.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
She squirms, wiggling around like she's hoping the memory will fall into place. Finally, she shakes her head.
Maybe not. It seems I've forgotten.
Imagine showing modern synth and electronic instruments to someone from the early 19th century. Oh, she would be so baffled. Do you think she'd come back to life if we gave her a monster energy? Or a Red Bull, perhaps.
Do you think there's a chance, though? Are you very familiar with songs from, well, my time?
I'm sure you know a few pieces.
Yeah. A lot of the most famous and respected composers come from those days. From this part of the world, too.
I want to feed Abigail a Dorito. Oh. Understandable. That Abby would... Yeah, she would. These are some of the snacks you enjoy in this time? Delightful! What does Cool Ranch mean? Why is it cool? I feel like she'd take it pretty much in stride. Yeah, pretty much.
I'm glad to hear that. They must be magnificent to be remembered so many years later. How nice that must be, to leave behind a legacy, to be missed.
To be missed. The way she says it is wistful, a dreamy sigh, like something she longs for. I glance over, half expecting her to be crying, but her face is steady and calm. She catches me looking and smiles.
I'm sorry. I'm just feeling a little nostalgic.
Understandable.
You don't need to apologize. I like hearing what's on your mind.
Feeling of being missed.
I'm glad. It would be rather unfortunate if, after everything, we didn't get along.
Oh, believe me, I think we'll be getting along. But, yeah, we both laugh at the idea.
I do have another question, though. A personal one. I know you said I can ask you anything, but...
I meant it. Please, go ahead.
Well, before, you said that you've never even tried to go back. Escape. Whatever the right word for it would be.
Can't imagine being alone for hundreds of years, then finally being able to speak with someone, but they fucking suck. Yeah, that would... Oh... Also keep in mind that before Abby was finally able to speak with Mads, she revealed herself to Mads as just a ghost. And they kind of started bonding for a week or so before this happened to Mads. They started bonding. Mads went, got books, came out here to read to Abby, and it was honestly quite adorable. So it's a pretty safe bet that, honestly, if Abby didn't feel like she could trust Mads from the get-go, she wouldn't have saved her like this. And they wouldn't even be in this situation. Like, they'd just be dead in the woods. Rip. They suck. But yeah, Abby liked Mads from the get-go, yeah. Honestly, there was really adorable scenes before that. Just, like, Mads literally got a book of baby names and brought it out here just so Abigail could point out her name, because with how they were communicating, Abigail couldn't talk to Mads while she was alive, so... Just book of baby names. And then Mads got her favorite children's story and read it to Abigail, and it was really precious.
Why is that? Doesn't it bother you, being stuck like this?
Where would he go back to? That's the question. Abigail scratches at the soft dirt beneath us. Of course, her fingers move impotently through it, changing nothing.
If you don't want to answer, that's okay.
I don't mind. I'm just thinking of what to say. So, I suppose that you've been thinking about it a lot, right? How to go back.
I nod.
Almost constantly. I don't know if it's possible or anything, but don't get me wrong, I'm beyond grateful that you saved me at all. But it feels like we're so close to being alive, but not. Everything's changed, but at the same time, it's like nothing has. I don't feel much different, but everything's different. I have a whole life out there. Or at least I did. I can't just forget about it. Or move on, or give up, or something.
I understand.
She's quiet, and I wonder if I went too far. I asked something that I shouldn't have. In a lot of ways, it's one of the most intimate and personal questions I could possibly ask. Then she shifts around to face me better.
I didn't have much left once I moved on. My family and those I care about. I had no desire to return to them. And then time started to pass. At first the days felt slow, torturously slow. I did nothing but sit around and mope, never straying far from the forest spirit who had saved me. But then I started to explore more, to get to know the forest, find moments of happiness. I was still terribly lonely, of course. It has been, until you got here.
I suppose that's the difference, huh? She didn't really have any desire to go back. It makes me wonder what the heck she left behind that she... What happened to you, girl?
But I can honestly say that I didn't hate it. I sang, I watched, I found my own joy where I could. Eventually, time left me behind. The people I had known grew old and died. I'm sure many forgot about me long before I forgot about them. At some point, there was nothing for me to want to go back to. The rest of the world outside this forest is just a maze that I don't know how to navigate. Here in the forest, I know nearly all there is to know. There's no grief or loss or pain. There's just peace.
Peace. Before I can respond, she stands up, brushing away imaginary dirt from her gown.
Would you fill up for another walk through the woods? Perhaps this time I can show you where the wisest, most handsome-looking owl nests. It's been so long since I've said hello to him.
Oh, fuck yeah, I love owls. She offers me a hand. I take it, and the obvious subject change. And she helps me up to my feet.
Sure. Let's go.
With a smile, she leads me back towards the trees. So many of the conversations that I have with Abigail are painful reminders. Either of the years of solitude that she's endured, or of what I can look forward to in my own future. Both make me very certain of one thing. I'm glad that she's here with me. Oh, side change? Morgan. Morgan. It's been days since Evelyn attacked Tara, since Gilladora spoke to her. Days of fruitless searching for Maddie, and Tara is still trying to act like she's okay. She pores over every piece of local history we can find. She makes jokes. She tells stories. She pretends she isn't losing hope every day that we don't find Maddie. She's lying. It's her body that tells the truth. She pulls me closer when she's under me. She stays in my arms for longer than she did before. I doubt she even notices she's doing it, but years spent hiding my emotions have made me pretty good at spotting it in someone else. Is she doing it for me? For herself? Both? That's the only thing I still don't know.
Morgan?
Tara is having a hell of a time right now. I can hear Tara's voice calling for the kitchen. I smell the smoke a second later. Oh no! Abigail is putting on a brave face, but I don't believe she's as reconciled to her fate as she pretends. It's more of a... Yeah. I can understand that. I think she's... It's definitely clear that Abigail left, I suppose. The biggest question is, what did Abby leave behind? Because she was clear from the get-go that she didn't want to go back. And then time just moved on as hard as it was initially. That has been hard enough for her. But now, that last month, that was a lot of pain and misery there. Speaking of pain and misery, it is, out of the bedroom before I realize I'm moving. My mind fills up with a million possibilities. What if Evelyn's already here? What if the cabin's burning? What if...
I think I owe you a new pan.
Oh no. Tara is fidgeting nervously. A cloud of black smoke billows from the pan on the stove. I can't even tell what was supposed to be in it. Whatever it was, it's charcoal. now.
You guys don't have, like, a fire extinguisher in here, right?
Fire extinguisher we call taking it out and throwing it in the snow. But that out of breath I was holding. I shouldn't have panicked like that. I'm just glad she's okay.
We don't need one. Let me see that.
I walked past her and grabbed the pan. Before she can say anything, I opened the door and tossed whatever was in the pan in the snow. I run a rag under the tap and toss it to her.
Why don't you get the smoke off the wall before it stains? I'll take care of this.
I'm still coming down from my adrenaline. I have to make a conscious effort to say it as gently as possible. You don't want her to think I'm mad at her. She seems happy being given something to do. She smiles and tries to salute, but it's with the wrong hand, and she ends up slapping herself in the face with the red rag. Oh god, Tara. I swear she does stuff like this on purpose sometimes. While Tara scrambles to duty, I start washing out the charred remains still clinging to the pan. After a few moments, Tara shuffles nervously behind me.
You don't cook much, do you?
Does not cooking at all fall under not cooking much? Because if so, yeah.
Yeah, 0 equals not much.
Then why did you...
Her eyes flick toward the counter, and I follow her gaze. There's a tray sitting there. It's a mess. A piece of clumsily sliced fruit. A cup of liquid. Blackened toast.
You were making me breakfast.
Tara looks guilty. Oh.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh. She looks down and starts fidgeting with her shirt.
I figure that since we're leaving the cabin, it'd be a waste to just leave it here. And I don't know, you've been really helpful and stuff. And I thought maybe I could pay you back a bit. But I just wasted the food anyway.
My mind reels. I can't utter a single sound. I don't really have any friends. The few people I'm on good terms with would never do something like this. Evelyn stopped preparing meals for me the instant I could make them for myself. Even when she did, they weren't much more than leftovers of what she made for herself.
It was a dumb idea. Sorry.
Oh. Tara and Morgan confirm their feelings for each other with a tearful kiss. My body moves on its own. My arms outstretch and wrap around her. Before I know it, I'm reaching up to her face and pressing my lips against hers. The minute I actually process what I'm doing, I pull away and drop my arms to my sides. We both stand there awkwardly for a moment before I'm able to speak.
Thank you.
Oh.
You're thanking me for screwing up making breakfast?
I'm thanking you for trying.
It's the thought that counts.
Oh, right. I guess that makes sense.
And I doubt someone like her would understand why this means so much to me. She has good people in her life. Random acts of kindness must be commonplace for her. But this is, like, seriously something really powerful to happen to Morgan. But for me, I've never been treated as anything but a tool. I spent years turning the idea in my head, thinking that I deserved it. It was easy enough to believe. So this moment means more to me than I could possibly say. Even if I actually knew how to talk to people, I couldn't do it. The best I can do is try to repay it in kind.
Maybe we could make something together? After all your videos have taught me, I'd be happy to teach you a few things in return.
Oh.
Are you sure? I mean, I literally know nothing about cooking. All I do is slow you down.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere, Tara. This is romantic, but also pretty sad, yeah. The fact that Tara is going through it, trying to cope with the stress of not being able to find Mads. Morgan is going through it. And still, yeah, finding a really touching moment here. She's protesting, but the smile on her face makes it clear how much she really wants to do this. Seeing that grin in person is way more radiant than seeing it through a screen.
That's okay. I'll take the lead, and we can go slow.
I take her hand again. She squeezes it, and I squeeze back.
Now, let's start with teaching you how to use a stove without burning the house down.
Oh, that song title. The Time of Smiling.
That's probably a good one to know, yeah?
Good tips, good tip. Pro tip. I grab some sausages from the fridge and toss them in the now clean pan before putting it back on the stove.
Okay, so you're going to want to have the heat a little lower than the absolute maximum for this one.
I I figured the higher it went, the faster it would cook.
Diminishing returns, Tara.
Technically, you're right, but that's also how you burn things beyond recognition.
That's a perfect recipe for charcoal. Move behind her and put her hand on the fry pan handle, pressing against her back to move her hand side to side.
Keeping it in motion is a good way to make sure it cooks evenly.
Right, cool.
You take her through the basics. She handles instructions surprisingly well. It helps that she's eager to learn. After the sausage, we move to toast, then coffee. She's sloppy, but she makes it work.
You're doing great. I'm impressed.
Aw,
Well, doing it with you is a pretty effective motivator.
is that a double entendre?
Very subtle.
It is.
When am I anything but?
Fair point. We finish up with the eggs and then sit down to eat. She powers through her meal, finishing before I'm even halfway through.
Holy shit, that was so good.
Right?
Looks like you're a better cook than you thought.
Hey.
Oh, please, that was like 25% me at most.
Hey, it's non-zero.
But thank you. I definitely learned enough to surprise Mads when she gets back.
Oh no. Mention of Maddie instantly sucks some of the joy from the room. Nice as this has been, I know it's only temporary shelter for the cloud still looming over our heads. Her smile doesn't falter at all, but I can see her eyes twitch slightly after she speaks. Wish I could think of something reassuring to say. I'd try just agreeing with her, but I know how hollow that would sound. Once again, she pushes it back inside. I know how that feels. Although I have a much harder time smiling afterwards.
And the best part is that we don't have to wash any of the dishes since we're leaving after this.
We're washing the dishes.
Be a responsible kitchen.
Oh, come
Advocate.
on.
I mean, really, you should. The right thing to do is to clean up while you're cooking, so you have less to do after the fact. She reluctantly drags herself over to the sink. I remain seated and continue eating. You are washing the dishes, Tara. Uh-oh. That smile. What are you doing, girl? A few seconds later, Tara reappears casually.
Hey, quick question. It should be okay if we leave Maddie's stuff here, right? I'd hate for her to come back and be missing all her super important films.
It should be fine. With us out of the way, Evelyn won't have any reason to focus on the cabin anymore.
Hey, Morgan, can you come here for a sec?
I jog down the hallway to find her staring at a hefty black bag sitting in the hall.
What's that?
It's Mads' camera equipment. I was just thinking that maybe we should shoot a video before we leave.
Like, film an episode?
Not quite. More like a summary of what's happened, for reference. Kinda like a black box in a plane. That way,
Something happens.
That way there'll be a record. Something that could help anyone else who decides to look into this.
A dead drop.
She flinches at the term. It's probably a bit too morbid for her liking, yeah?
It's worth a shot. I can help you film it.
Are you sure? That's a professional quality camera. Even I don't know how half the shit it does works. That's Maddie's domain.
I'm sure I can figure something out. It can't be too hard to get the basics down.
Push button, turn on. There's a bajillion other things about it, but that's the basics we're working on here.
All right, let's get to work.
All right, what's the plan? Here we go.
Okay, so, wait, let me...
Hang on, I think I've got it.
No, that's just going to access the archive. We need to get the focus right for the main shoot.
Things aren't going well. Neither of us can figure out how to work the camera. My only contribution has been getting it on the tripod. Most of the terms Tara's using fly over my head. She claims that Maddie's the one who knows all about how to make it work, but even her limited understanding is worlds away from mine.
I'm sorry. I wish I could do more.
Hey, we're
Don't sweat
trying.
it, you're doing fine.
Lie.
Maddie never taught me much. She, makes the videos. I just do the talking.
She says she tried, but maybe it's a matter of, it never clicked, so she let it drop. Her voice is quiet. Maybe this was a bad idea. All it seems to be doing is making her miss Maddie even more. I'm sure as hell not good enough to replace her. At least I finally managed to get the camera to a point where it's actually filming.
Oh shit, you got it!
Hell yeah. She's humoring me. The picture isn't even close to being in focus, and I somehow managed to make the colors even more washed out than this place already is. doesn't look anything like her more recent videos.
I can do better. There are still settings I haven't tried.
Hey, it's learning by trying. That's a start. Tara claps me on the back. A bit too hard. She's so obvious.
Don't worry about it. The stuff is confusing. Maybe the blur will make it look more mysterious or something.
Hey, we're going for the Blair Witch vibe here.
Sure.
Being a dead drop and all, we have to make it look as ominous as possible, right? She leans against a tree in front of the camera. On her signal, I hit what I hope is record. I gave her a slight nod, and she's off.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to a very special, not quite an episode of Paranormal. We've had a lot of crazy shit go down in the past couple weeks, so Morgan and I are putting this together to make sure we don't miss anything. Who's Morgan, you ask? She's our inside woman, as they say. We wouldn't have found any of the stuff I'm about to tell you about if not for her, and she's been a hell of an assistant, too.
Oh, hello, Care. We are indeed starting in the middle. We are, in fact, in the woods. That is a good starting point. Do not worry. You have missed quite a bit. There's a lot to catch up on. This should... Ironically, you came in at precisely the right point to, get a bit of a summary as far as what's going on.
Mads would be manning the camera right now, but, she's not here right now. It's complicated.
Her voice dips for a moment before launching back into her professional cheeriness.
So, where to begin? Well, I suppose I should start with a little story about a spirit, also known as the only time I've had fun in church.
She launches into her story without having to take a single moment to think about it. I feel like I'm watching her transform in front of me. The hostess with the mostest. Oh, there's a remix. I didn't notice that. Her uncertainty is gone. Her anxiety is gone. That melancholy she's had inside her since Maddie disappeared is gone. It's like she's glowing. Wish I could tell her how wonderful it is to see. I know I'd never be able to say something like that.
Anyway, that's pretty much all we have right now. Hopefully Mads will be back soon.
I hear her voice shake for a fraction of a second. She corrects it instantly, but I know I heard it.
I'm not gonna lie, there's some bad shit out here. Maddie got caught up in it somehow, but it's nothing that's gonna last.
Doubt.
Am I in danger too? Sure, but that's nothing new for me. You're talking to a girl who nearly got eaten by a bear because park rangers suck at their jobs.
National Park girls.
I'm just making this so we don't have as much to go over when we find her. The dry air out here is killer on my throat, so I could use the help.
She coughs loudly. I'm not sure if it's real or just from emphasis. Just learned about the bear guy the other day, and I'm so sad. Bear guy?
And Evelyn, if you find this, know that we're gonna make you pay for what you did.
Uh-oh.
I...
Oh. Her voice breaks again. This time it's unmistakable. Maybe this was a bad idea. It takes a minute before she starts talking again. Her voice is shaky. Her face has a strange expression I've never seen before.
I'll do whatever I have to do, you know? If you're watching, I want you to know that. Can you just give me my friend back? Can you just do that now?
Like I loved in film bears gotta eat. Oh no. But oh no. Tears begin to flow down Tara's cheeks and she begins to crumple as she continues speaking.
I'll do anything, I swear.
Oh no.
I don't care if we don't find any more evidence. I don't need anything else from this trip. I just want Maddie back.
I can't just watch this anymore. I need the camera and run to her side. Pip, I am so sad. Yeah, same. I need the camera and run to her side. I throw my arms around her and I feel her body sink into mine.
I'm sorry, Tara. I'm so sorry.
I wrap my arms tighter as I feel her legs give out. It's all I can do to keep her upright as she starts to sob into my shoulder. My knee settles in my chest. I've never had to do anything like this before. I have to try. I have to do something. Oh? Choice? Oh boy. She needs this. Oh boy. I mean... Choose wisely, indeed. My heart's... I have a save. I'm going to save twice. Because... I'm going to save in slot 9. Because... Backup saves. I should let her mourn. I think this happened has been my fault. There's probably nothing I could say that would make up for that. Maybe I shouldn't say anything. Just hold her like this. Physical comfort is all I'm good at after all. Oh, why does that feel like a bad thing to... That is, yeah. Oh no, I'll take care of her. It's the least I can do. I lower her down to the ground slowly. I don't even feel the snow on me.
Take your time. Getting it out will help.
This is all such bullshit. Why would she take Mads? She wasn't causing any trouble.
She grabs handles of my sweater and where her hands rest against me, I don't stop her.
I could have helped her. I could have talked this out with her, but I didn't. And because of that, I
squeeze her tighter. There's nothing else I can do. I give up on thinking of something to say. I'm better at saying nothing anyway.
I should have let her stay home. I should have listened to her when we were out here.
She pulls away from me and sits down in the snow. And she smiles. It's a bitter, broken smile. The kind of smile you can only form when you don't know what else to do.
I just keep ruining things, huh?
Tara, you aren't the reason the two of you came here. I was. This is on me.
She has to know I'm right, deep down. I don't want her to hate me. I'd much rather she hate me than hate herself. So, I hold Tara. I hold her with as much tenderness as I can, and she breaks into heaving sobs on my shoulder. I feel her body rocking with loss and pain, and her heart tears fall and freeze on the ground below us. I let her feel the extent of her grief. It's a pain I can never understand. The pain of losing someone important to you. Meeting Tara, I've only just started to know what that bond is like, but I can't compare it to what she has with Maddie. Tara's wailing grows muffled as she buries her face in my chest and hugs me tightly. Hesitantly, I stroke her hair in return. Time passes. Eventually, Tara grows quiet. She sniffles and shakes in my arms, but relaxes with each breath. I never found any words to say. We sit there together until finally Tara lifts herself from me, her face red and puffy. She gives me a weak smile and wipes her face. I start to pack up the camera as she cleans herself up. It seems like this might have helped, after all. I should probably just leave it be and head back with her, but one thought keeps burning in my head. I have to tell her.
Tara. I'm going to make sure you get Maddie back, no matter what.
Mostly caught up on women and ready to be sad right on time, hey Manji? We just missed some very much sad. Very much sad. She stares at me like I just spoke to her in another language. If I'm reading the context of that choice, I feel like I made the wrong decision. I feel like I made the wrong decision here. Based on the way Morgan was reacting to the choice that we made. But I'm going to write out the wrong decision because this leads us to bad endings. If this leads to a bad ending, it is I am a bad ending completionist. And she finally gives me a smile that doesn't have an ounce of sorrow in it.
I know. If anyone can, it's you.
Aw. Not sure what she means by that. I hope she's not thinking of the same thing I am. I'm sure she is not thinking of the same thing you are. What you're thinking is concerning to me. Which makes me feel like I, made a bad decision here. Makes me feel like I made a bad decision here, but she probably thinks I'm just talking big, like I'm some brave knight about to go kill a dragon. I wish that was true. That is what I like to do, but I very much play things by ear. Very much play things by ear, then go back for completion's sake. But this is went with my gut, and based on the context immediately afterwards, I felt like I made the wrong choice. I'm thinking about the one way I know I can save her, the way that only I can. I don't like that thought. And that's to give Evelyn what she wants. I really don't like this thought, Morgan. Me. I really don't like this thought. Don't you do that, Morgan. We don't talk on the ride back. Tara doesn't even fidget. I figured the wet pants would make sitting still even harder for her than it already is, but she's completely still. Is it until we stop in the village that she speaks?
I hope you don't think I'm mad at you for bringing us out here.
You aren't?
Nah, I know you just wanted to make something good happen for all of us. Things just didn't work out that way is all. Besides,
We certainly did find something good here. Her voice trails off and mumbles. After a moment, she takes a deep breath and restarts.
Coming here meant I got to meet you. I'm sure as hell not complaining about that.
I'm sure you've met plenty of fans in person.
Not to this degree.
Yeah, but you're not just a fan. Not to me. You're a lot more than that.
What are you saying?
She suddenly looks away from me. I think she's trying to hide the fact that she's blushing. Poorly.
I don't know, just I haven't ever really met anyone like you before is all.
Understandable. For a moment, strange thoughts fill my head. I want her to say more than that. I don't know what I want it to be. I just want more. I know better than to ask for that. Oh.
If it helps, I haven't met anyone like you before either.
Well, I could have told you that one. I am one of a kind, you know.
Indeed. Cut from a different cloth.
No argument there.
I'm having a hard time looking at her. I don't know why. This is a new feeling. Tara's a total dork, but she can be pretty smooth at times. Yeah. I say, even Tara being just a complete and utter clumsy dork is really endearing. Love that. She is something precious. I love her. Push it away and reach for the carriage door instead. There's a weird air in the carriage now.
Let's get inside. We still gotta figure out how much of your stuff we can fit in my closet.
I mean, I could just leave some of my clothes on the floor. That's what I do at home.
Yeah.
Not happening. I like being able to see my floor.
Can't blame a girl for trying.
Hey, yeah. I can't help laughing. She laughs too. She's going to be okay. I know she will. I'm going to make sure she stays that way. Oh, side change. Maddie. Oh, hello. Why am I here? By now, I've all but given up being able to see Tara again. And I can't abandon the idea without at least trying to get through to her. She deserves to know that I'm okay. Or at least, okay as I can be, given the circumstances. At first, Abigail was hesitant about interacting with other people. I don't blame her. After 2 centuries of solitude, talking to 3 complete strangers with the course of a few days would be a pretty jarring shift. Despite that, she understands how important this is to me. She also warned me that we can't venture too far into the village itself. The magic of the forest only extends so far, and there's no telling what would happen to us if we went past it. The border of magic isn't clear-cut, so she made me promise to stay close to her. Just in case. I really am lucky to have someone as accommodating as her with me. Even if we fail, it means a lot that she's willing to try. I try to fill her in on what to expect from Tara and Morgan's personalities. Doing my best to be as charitable as I can with telling her how likely Tara is to completely flip out when she sees a ghost. Once she's fully prepared, we make our way to the cabin. It's empty. There's not a trace that anyone has been in here for days. All of Tara's things are gone. That's an instant relief. It seems like a planned exit.
Did you find something, Madison?
Oh, hi. I can't help but flinching. I can't help flinching as Abigail floats through the wall next to me. Incorporeality is one of these things I haven't been able to get used to.
I think so. It seems like the 2 of them went back to the village.
I don't even entertain the idea that she went home early or anything like that. It's not in her nature.
Do you think so? That sounds like it would be dangerous. Why would they put themselves in danger like that?
I have no idea. Hopefully we can ask them ourselves.
Hopefully. Abigail starts to back away, looking down at the ground. She is probably not feeling too great about going into the village.
Madison, of course I'll do my best to help you, but I feel like it would be remiss of me if I didn't warn you to not get your hopes up. It took me years to be able to manifest myself. The chances of you being able to communicate with them so soon are low.
That's okay. I didn't have much hope to begin with.
I don't like being this dour about things, but I don't see how else I'm supposed to feel. She looks stricken by my words, and I hastily try to gloss it over. Love this song, super melancholy and soft. It is, yeah.
I mean, hey, you never know. If you can do it, maybe I can come along with you. The two of us together are bound to be able to accomplish more than we could on our own.
When one lives for centuries, would seeing a ghost be so unnatural? Unusual? I mean, Abigail's the one who's lived for a few centuries, and she's the ghost.
Together.
She looks down, grabbing handfuls of her gown. Oh yeah, true. She hasn't seen any ghosts except for Maddie. She wouldn't know, yeah. She's agreed to come with me before, but it seems like she's having second thoughts. She agreed to come here. She's probably less certain about going into the village.
What's wrong?
It's just that accompanying you would mean returning to Eisenfeld again.
Yep, I thought so.
I haven't returned since, well...
You... Oh no. I'd never even thought to ask about that. Uh-oh. I've tried to avoid talking about her death as much as possible. As strange as it sounds, it feels like it would be rather rude, in a way, invasive. But I should have at least checked with her before suggesting we make our way there.
I'm sorry, Abigail. I didn't mean to...
By surprise, she hurries back toward me and nearly bumps her head against mine as she closes the gap between us.
You don't have to apologize, Madison. I agreed to help you, and I'm going to honor that commitment.
Oh.
Besides, maybe it could be good for me. I can't avoid going back there forever. And having you there will make the burden of memory much easier to bear.
Having a friend. Her conviction, combined with her invasion of my personal space, makes my face flush red. For a moment it looks like she's worried she'll upset me. Give her the best smile I can manage. After years of making Tara normal, I hope maybe a bit of Tara's charm and social skills would have rubbed off on me. They haven't.
If you say so. As long as you don't feel like I'm forcing you or anything.
But you know what? That's endearing about you too, Maddie. You're
Not at all.
adorable.
You've been nothing but kind to me, Madison. I want to repay that kindness.
In a completely different way than Tara. And that's precious. If anything, I still feel like I'm indebted to her for saving my life, but I know she wouldn't see it that way. I've done my best to be polite, but I haven't exactly made any grand gestures of thanks to her.
Thank you, Abigail. Really.
Of course. Now then, shall we?
Lead the way.
Every time Tara and I visited Eisenfeld, we were stared at everywhere we went. Now seeing everyone walk by Abigail and me without such a glance is surreal. Abigail gazes at the buildings as we pass by, occasionally pointing out ones she remembers from her time. Her voice is a strange mix of excitement and melancholy. I'm not sure if I should encourage her mood or try to comfort her. As we enter the town square, we start to encounter larger groups of people. Each time one passes close by, Abigail grabs onto my arm and moves closer to me. Is she scared of crowds, or is something about the villagers themselves that has her shaking? Oh, if the spirit of the woods is what essentially grabbed their souls and saved them, that makes a lot of sense. By the sounds of it, they might possibly vanish into nothingness if they venture too far from the forest. It's no wonder that Abigail would be trepidatious. So, yeah, there's terrible memories associated with the village, and the magic of the forest is what enabled the spirit of the forest to save their souls to begin with. So, of course, that's why they can't go too far from the forest. Makes perfect sense, honestly. I'm tempted to ask her, but I think better of it. For all I know, this fear could be connected to the way she died. Mine runs wild with possibilities. Maybe she was burned as a witch or cast out of the village. This definitely isn't helping. I need to focus. Thankfully, it's not too long before we reach Morgan's house. I just hope they're here. And more importantly, I hope we can reach them.
Are you ready, Abigail?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Morgan's place. We phase through the wall and into the kitchen. Hello! And there they are. Tara and Morgan sharing breakfast, close enough to touch. I'd give nearly anything to be able to hug them right now. My feelings are a mixture of guilt and elation, and worry. More than anything, I'm glad she's okay. Both her and Morgan. I need to talk to Tara. There's so much I need to say and ask.
Tara! Can you hear me?
Morgan, this is delicious. How the hell do you know how to make all this stuff?
Apparently she can't. She doesn't even look in my direction.
Most of it I picked up from older folks in the village. The rest I pieced together from random cooking videos.
When all this is said and done, remind me to give those channels a shout out in an episode, because this rules.
I try waving my hands in front of their faces, hoping that maybe movement will convey what my voice clearly can't. Once again, no reaction. Morgan leans toward Tara, passing right through my hand.
Maybe you'll learn enough while you're here to make a few cooking videos yourself.
Are you asking because you actually think that'd be good, or do you just want to see another video where I almost burn my house down?
Nearly burned my house down, not clickbait. Morgan shrugs and gives Tara a small smirk. When Tara chuckles in response, I feel another surge of sadness. I knew I shouldn't have expected this to work right away, but I'm still crestfallen. Having them this close hurts in a way I couldn't have imagined. All the time I spent feeling ignored while I was alive seems so trivial compared to this. Yep, another one. Another one.
So what's the plan for today? Got anywhere in town we might be able to hit up for local lore?
Most of the official records of town history are sealed up in Evelyn's office, so those are off the table. But we might have some luck checking out older buildings around town. She's done a good job of cleaning up evidence of what Eisenfeld used to be, but maybe you'll notice something I didn't.
Sure, I mean, it's worth a shot.
Her voice barely contains a trace of the fire I'm so used to. I have to hope that at least the remaining trace is a sign that she'll regain the fire someday. That is a Tara thing to do. Nearly burn the house down for content. Understandable. At least she's not alone. Morgan reaches out and puts her hand on Tara's shoulder, squeezing gently. When she speaks, her words are soft and strained.
Are you going to be okay?
What do you mean?
After yesterday, if you need some time to rest, nobody's going to blame you.
Tara looks down at her feet. I can't read her expression, but the low volume of her voice tells me all I need to know. A quiet Tara is a worrying rarity.
I mean, I guess a little time off could help me. As long as we get right back to looking for Mads afterwards.
Of course.
I feel like I should be hurt that she's not focusing on finding me, but I'm not. I'm just glad that she's got someone with her to keep her from burning herself out. I still don't feel any kind of power within me that I could use to manifest myself. Abigail's my only hope. I turn to her, trying to keep my voice level despite my desperation.
Abigail, do you think you can manifest? Even if I can't reach them, maybe you can.
Far enough from the woods that possibly not. Abigail nods, but she's frowning. My heart wasn't exactly soaring, but I can feel it sink even further.
I'll try, but whatever power I had that allowed me to appear to you has felt much weaker since I used it to save you.
Yeah, no, Maddie is frozen to death somewhere deep in the woods, Manji. They have tried. They have gone looking for her, but they haven't actually found her. At this point, they're... At this point, Tara is struggling. In terms of grief. Tara is still struggling here. Abigail closes her eyes and starts to lift higher off the ground. As I watch, I feel a strange feeling in the air around me. As if it's bending around her, being pulled aside so she can step through the border between our worlds. For a minute, it seems like it's actually working. Whoa, Shiny. Trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to say when I feel the energy in the air start to fade. Abigail seems to be struggling, furrowing her brow as she sways in the air. Her face scrunches and guilt stabs me like a knife. Is she in pain?
Abigail, stop. It's okay.
Maybe if I just try a little harder.
Oh, Abby, I appreciate how hard you're willing to try, but don't hurt yourself. Reach out and gently take her hand, lowering her to the ground. She opens her eyes, breathing hard. As much as I want to see Tara, it's not worth making her feel like this.
It's okay. I promise. We can try again some other time.
Abigail gives a faint nod and stares down at her feet. Her hands ball into fists as her shoulders rise and fall.
I'm so sorry, Madison. I don't understand why this is happening.
It's okay. It's
There
okay.
aren't any rule books for this sort of thing. I don't blame you for not knowing about things most people think are impossible to begin with.
Yeah, honestly. The disappointment I'm feeling takes a back seat to concern for Abigail's well-being. I've already put her through a lot by making her come here in the first place.
We knew beforehand that this was a long shot. I'm just happy I got to see them again.
Are you sure?
I'm not, but I know that if I tell her that, she'll want to try again. It's better this way.
I'm sure. You've done more than enough by coming with me.
I look back to Tara and Morgan, taking what I praise in my final glance at them. To my surprise, Tara is leaning against Morgan's shoulder while Morgan's arm is wrapped around her back in a loose hug.
Thank you. As messed up as all this is, I'm glad that you're the one helping me get through it.
Tara's voice is soft and it carries a vulnerability I don't think I've ever heard from her before.
Same here. We make a good team.
You do. You do. Tara raises her head to look at Morgan, their faces inches apart.
We should have a team name, like the Dream Team or something.
We'll work on it.
Yeah. I already had a feeling that the two of them had something going on before all this happened. I'm not that surprised, if I'm being honest. It's not like this has happened before with her. It's always a one-night stand or some kind of quick fling. Never the kind of thing that would merit real vulnerability. But again, she's never been in a situation like this before. Maybe losing me brought out a part of her I never knew she had. As if in response to my thoughts, Morgan leans forward and kisses Tara. It's not more than a simple peck on the lips. This is something deeper. So deep, in fact, that I have to turn away. It seems wrong to spy on something that's intimate. Yeah. Next to me, Abigail has also turned away. Her face is a bright crimson and her hands are close to her chest. I didn't stop to consider this is the first act of intimacy she's seen in 2 centuries. For all I know, this will be the first time she's ever seen 2 women kiss.
You okay?
At this moment, Abigail has a revelation. She looks up at me, slightly alarmed.
Yes. I'm okay. I just wasn't prepared for something like that.
Trust me, I wasn't either.
Abigail pauses for a moment, closing her eyes and taking a calming breath. That face, though, yes. On this day, she has had a revelation. A small smile crosses Abby's face as she blushes, her wide eyes softening.
It is nice, though, isn't it? A love like that can give someone incredible strength.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm happy for them.
I really am. Maybe this will help her cope better now that I'm gone. Being disembodied is both limiting and freeing. That's the nice thing about it. Being disembodied, you can't exactly touch anything else. Like, Abigail's been alone for hundreds of years, not able to touch anything or anyone else. And now that Maddie has died and entered the same state as Abigail, it was a revelation for Abigail that she could, in fact, touch Maddie. It's a delightful sensation to rediscover after hundreds of years of not being able to.
But we should probably go. I feel really weird being here for this.
Of course. Maybe we can try this again another time.
Her words lack conviction, but she doesn't protest. I have to think of some ways to cheer her up once we get back to the church.
Hey, do you want to maybe...
Front door creaks open. All four of us freeze at the entrance. Uh-oh. Evelyn stalks in and slams the door behind her. She doesn't say anything, but neither do Tara and Morgan. Tara shaking, and Morgan places a protective arm in front of her as she glares at her mother. I shiver too, desperately wanting to look away, but feeling unable to. Part of me screams to do something, anything to get her away from Morgan and Tara. Yet, there's a stronger part of me screaming, I need to leave, I need to get out of here. But I feel just as frozen as the day I died. I feel Abigail on my arm, pulling me backwards. She pulls my body through the connecting wall, and only when Evelyn is out of my vision can I breathe again. Abigail presses against me, just as stunned as I am. I try to keep calm, telling myself that she doesn't even know we're here, that she can't hurt me anymore. Evelyn passes through the door and by the corner where Abigail and I are lurking. And she stops. Uh-oh. Slowly, her head turns to look where we are. Do ghosts need to breathe? Probably not, but they certainly feel it. Where there's otherwise just empty space. She's so close that I can see her face contort in recognition and shock.
Madison!
I jerk my head towards Abigail to see that she's already started to head for the wall, waiting for me to follow her. It's enough to snap me out of my trance. I run to her, casting a backwards glance at Evelyn to make sure she isn't following us. She doesn't move, but her eyes track us as we run. Right before I pass through the wall, her mouth opens.
How?
Ooh, that anger. I don't stick around to find out what she says next. Abigail and I run as fast as we can, racing through buildings and people with reckless abandon. After what we just saw, our all other fears feel inconsequential. By the time we're back in the forest, it's clear that Evelyn has no interest in pursuing us. For now, at least. So Evelyn can see ghosts. Yeah, that she is certainly not a normal human if we needed any more confirmation about that.
Madison, are you okay?
She puts her hand on my shoulder, pulling me closer to her. My head throbs painfully and my breathing is shaking, but her touch grounds me.
I'm not sure, but I'm a lot better now that we have some distance between us and her.
I look backwards toward the village, half expecting her to come flying at us like some kind of demon.
She saw us, Abigail. How is that possible?
Abigail looks down at the ground, and I realize she's shaking as hard as I am.
I wish I knew. Madison, she said something to you before we left, didn't she?
Yeah, I didn't catch all of it, but I think I know what she was going to say. She looked shocked when she saw us. Confused, even. I think she didn't know about us being out here.
That's concerning. Abigail's voice is barely above a whisper when she speaks. Her face is drained of color. She knows we are here.
But now she does.
What have we done? The message is clear. As long as Evelyn is in Eisenfeld, we can't be. I'm sorry, Tara. I'm sorry, Morgan. Looks like you're on your own. Look, that's terrifying. Abby! Side Abby! This is a first. The midday sun sits high in the sky, setting everything aglitter. The vibrant music of the forest, the pitter-patter of dripping snow, the chitter-chatter of birds, and the accompanying breeze is especially loud today. The events of yesterday are a forgotten nightmare, and so today must be a dream come true. Madison stands there with her back toward me, to me in the church, facing the forest. Her head is tilted back ever so slightly. For the first time, she looks truly at peace. The briefest moment she is framed by the sunlight. Then, perhaps sensing me watching, she turns around and smiles at me. I can't help but smile back. Without a doubt, the past several days have been the happiest of my extraordinarily long existence.
Good morning. Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I did. It's getting a bit easier.
That's wonderful.
I know that isn't true. That she tossed and turned and sighed until early in the morning. Oh no. I know, but I understand. Whatever it takes for her to feel more comfortable, more at home, I wish that I knew how to help. For me, sleep was the last thing on my mind after I passed. I explored endlessly, backtracking over and over again until I knew every step of these woods. Made the most of my situation the best I could, and rather well if I do say so myself. Even now, both the Morgan and Abby are in the same position here, trying to figure out how to help Tara and Maddie, going through utter nightmares in their own right.
What would you like to do today?
Let's go back to that forest clearing. The one where the fairies live? I'd like to see it again.
My soul sings! Out of everywhere we've been, that would be the place she wants to return. She's literally sparkling. I rush to her side, drawn to her presence like a magnet. Simply being near to her makes me happy. And part of my mind screams at me that I don't deserve it. The same way that she doesn't deserve to be so miserable. Still, I put on my brightest smile as I touch her arm.
That sounds perfect. I'd like nothing better.
Aww.
Shall we go now?
Yeah, sure.
As is tradition, I lead the way out of the church and towards the forest. The trees and branches part invitingly, familiar and old. I ask the forest to take us to the clearing, and I can feel it ripple in response. Not physically, but in my heart. I know that the forest is listening. Have we heard this choir? Have we heard this song before with the choir in it? This is really charming. It almost feels fitting that we got this mix on Abby's perspective. It's Abby singing, almost. Her soul is literally singing. Like she said. It's difficult to explain. So much of this existence has become a habit and routine for me that I keep taking for granted the difficulties Madison must be going through. It's precious. It's literally Abby's soul singing. Like she said. The emotional turmoil, coupled with the way her own understanding of the universe itself keeps changing. I feel another pain in my heart at that. That stab of guilt once more for enjoying her presence. Madison accompanies me unhesitatingly, her steps more confident than they used to be. We walk side by side. I relish the closeness. I wonder if it even crosses her mind. Oh, it does, more than you expect. Here we are. When we reach the clearing, Madison sighs contentedly, relaxed and easy. A tranquil expression settles on her face, like a masterpiece of art. I spent the whole day appreciating that look if I could. It is. It really is nice. When a tune is given added complexion, added remix like that. The grove's serenity is contagious. I also feel a little more at peace here. We head for the shore of the pond, as still and glassy as ever.
I really love it here. It's so calm.
I nod. Of course we've discussed it before, but I don't mind. We can listen to her talk about anything, for any amount of time.
It actually reminds me of somewhere back at home. There's a little lake near where Tara and I live. Sometimes I like to go and sit down there to think.
Aw.
There are a ton of geese and ducks around too. Sometimes they won't leave you alone, so you just have to ignore them.
These things happen. I envision a flock of birds surrounding Madison, all quacking and vying for attention.
Maybe they want you to sing to them too.
They want to sing with you. Quack, 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 quack. Madison laughs, sweet and subtle. It's the most beautiful sound in the world. Oh.
Nah, they just want food. It's really popular to go down and feed them. Moms do it with their kids a lot. But then the birds get so used to it that they think every human has frozen peas for them.
They must be disappointed quite often then.
Oh.
Yeah.
She trails off, looking wistful. I'm sure she's thinking of home. I try not to ask her much about her life before I met her, because I know that the memories hurt. By surprise, though, Madison clears her throat and continues talking.
I wish that you could see it someday. My home, I mean, in America. I think you'd like it there.
I'm sure that I would. I'd love to see any place that you care so much about. All of the buildings and the lights.
I try to envision what it might be like, but it's futile. There's so much that I don't know. So many things that I haven't seen. Trying to imagine is like trying to imagine a color that I've never seen before. No matter what she says, it's impossible to visualize. Like, indeed. Even the memories I have of the few times I left Eisenfeld have long since faded. To me, the only world that exists now is the forest.
I keep thinking, in your time, what would I have been like? Would I be the same person if I never fell in love with films?
Films?
Oh, time for another revelation.
Oh, it's like a play that you can watch anytime. They're
I see.
Oops, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there. Oops. Hey, back here. Madison moves her arms a little, looking like she wants to say more, but eventually just shakes her head. She smiles, a bit sadly.
There are so many things like that. Films or events in history that are so normal to me, but that I keep forgetting you don't know about.
Things that we're so used to that we grew up with that trying to explain practically to someone who's never been around the same thing for a completely different period in time, trying to explain these things? Impossible.
So if I ever say anything that makes no sense at all, I can try to explain.
There are a lot of things I've wondered about, it's true. For instance, sometimes I'll see great noisy machines up in the sky. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think that's the metaphor that we're getting at here. It's your visual spectrum that you're used to seeing, and someone tries to explain to you what a color looks like that is outside that visual spectrum. Like, you don't have any basis of comprehending that color until you see it in person. And that's just something completely outside your known universe, your known knowledge base. That, yeah, it's... Hell, that might be the equivalent if it's something that exists. If there's alien life, say if I've seen alien life before, I've met them, I've shook hands with them, played cards with them, come down here and try to explain it to someone who has no perception of alien life, I don't think I could properly convey it in a way that you could understand until you meet them too. Until you witness it personally and it gets worked into your worldview, it's impossible to truly comprehend. Anyways, great noisy birds in the sky. Madison giggles again, but I don't know why.
Yeah, those are called airplanes. They're kind of like giant carriages that carry people around. That's how we got from America to here.
So, Abby, there's this thing called the Industrial Revolution?
What? Don't tease me like that. There's no way something like that could fly.
No, it's true. It's really true. They're the fastest way to get around the world. There are also these things called cars, which are much smaller and only fit a few people.
Yeah, it's like carriages, but you don't need horses to pull them. It's wild, right?
But most people own their own car and use it to get around.
Do you have one?
I do.
Oh.
Why not use that to cross the ocean?
She laughs again, and I don't know why. At first I feel embarrassed. The gulf of knowledge that I lack nearly as wide as the ocean that she claims to have crossed. But then she steps closer, placing her arms around me in a tight hug. Again, I don't know why. But it's lovely. I feel myself relaxing, leaning against her arms and just enjoying the closeness, the comfort, the affection. Far too soon, Madison relaxes and I regretfully pull away from her. She gazes up at the sky, and for a brief moment, I anticipate another lesson about the modern world.
I've been thinking a lot about what you said the other day. About how you've never wanted to leave this place.
Yes, I'm far too cowardly for that.
And in many other ways, too.
I don't think that's cowardly at all. It's difficult to leave behind what you know and what feels safe. In fact, it's really scary. I know that the two don't really compare, but before I decided to quit Tara's show, I felt the same way. Like I was afraid to leave, just because I was so used to it being part of my life.
One can learn, but one can't learn to see X-rays. But what if it can? What if there's a way to actually see X-rays out there? We don't know about it. Yeah. We don't know about it. We can approximate it. We don't know about it, but what if it is possible? We won't know about it until we discover it. And it gets worked into our worldview. Yeah. We don't know how far things will advance in the future. If we last that long, but that's the thing that we don't know, and it feels impossible, but hey, you never know.
But I decided that if I wasn't happy with how things were, that I should just take the risk and change something.
Change is hard.
Everyone has those worries, though. That doesn't make you a coward.
Madison half smiles, the side of her mouth curling up just a little bit.
If we ever do find a way out of here, maybe you could come back to America with me.
She's joking. I'm sure that she doesn't mean it, or at least not fully. And yet my heart flutters like a bird taking flight. Even after everything that's happened, that she'd even have concern for someone like me. She truly is the most extraordinary person I've met. And as happy as her offer makes me, it hurts like a knife in my heart because I know that it could never be. I wouldn't deserve that kind of happiness anyway. Still, I smile back in kind.
That might be nice. Would I have to ride on an airplane?
Oh, definitely. People don't really take boats across the ocean for travel anymore. Not nearly as much. Pretty much everyone flies.
Isn't that scary? How does something so heavy manage to stay up in the air?
It's kind of scary the first few times, but you get used to it. As for how it's possible, well, there's all sorts of science behind it, but that would take too long to explain.
Tons of science.
Anyway, though, you could stay with me and Tara. We've got plenty of space. Or we could help you find your own apartment. There's a lot you'd have to learn about the modern world, of course, but it'd be worth it, and we could help you learn.
I think we'd have to get you a social security card, yeah. Kind of be a lot here, considering you come from... There's gonna be a lot of questions adjusting to life in America, being a few hundred years old, but we'll make it work. And as it continues on, explaining this and that procedure we'd have to go through and how we'd overcome each obstacle. I play my part, smiling and nodding along. It's an easy role. It does sound wonderful. In fact, there's nothing I'd like more. And though at first I thought she was joking, she's being completely serious. That makes it hurt even more. Because I know it's impossible. I close my eyes to help hide the tears that have sprung there, unbidden. Fortunately, Madison doesn't seem to notice. Her voice trails off. When I open my eyes again, I see that she's looking past me, her eyes wide with awe. I spin around, floating about far too early in the day. Whoa! Fairies!
Are those the fairies you were talking about?
Hello there, Freya, if you're still here. We have found the fairies. They are in fact here. Oh, they're quite pretty. They are in fact cute. I concur.
Yes.
Oh, it's the most trustworthy. A handful of them flit amongst the trees and light, paying us no mind. They move like dancers, their motions fluid and in sync with each other. As one rises up to adjust a hanging light, another fairy weaves between the branches, carrying something in its hands that I can't see. Though I only spy a few of them right now, I'm sure that many more are just out of sight, deeper in the grove or otherwise nearby. Madison watches them with unabashed awe. What if they enjoy the taste of flesh? Ah, yes. Care. Let me introduce you to something called Lobotomy Corporation, if you want to know about where that comes from.
What are they doing?
I shrug.
I'm not sure. I've never seen them out during the day like this. Usually they stay hidden in their hive until the moon is out. They aren't like humans, they're something entirely different. Even though I've spoken with them before, I don't really understand them.
They're cute and happy and protect you from harm in Lobotomy Corporation, but if you betray them, they will eat you.
Wait, they can talk? Like they can speak human language?
Yes, they aren't the most eloquent, but yes.
Hello, fairy friends.
I see.
How do you do? The only time I've talked with them was the first time I came to this grove, all on my own. At first they had tried to drive me out, but eventually realized that I meant them no harm. Since then, we haven't interacted. Oh, it's not even because... Oh yeah, okay, good point. Not because you betrayed them, it's because they're afraid that someone else will eat you first. So literally, if you try to go somewhere else, if you try to work on something else while the fairies are protecting you, they will eat you to keep whatever you're working on from eating you first.
They're part of the forest too, right? In the connected way that you were talking about before.
Yes.
She makes a sound in acknowledgement, but doesn't say anything more. Whatever implications her meeting that might have to her goes unspoken. Soon the fairies disappear once more into the trees, whatever business that called them here finished. They go silently. Not even the hum of their tiny wings reaching us. After only seconds, we are left all alone again.
They weren't anything like I expected.
Indeed.
Really? How so?
Have you just heard Tara stories?
In stories I've heard, fairies are always smaller and look like little people with wings. Not like what we just saw.
I mean, so it's
And they usually live in
human-like.
flowers and fields, not the snow. But those are just stories, of course. I keep having to remind myself that this is real life, and that real life doesn't care what happens in stories.
Indeed. Madison looks down at the pond. Gently, she places the tip of her foot in the water. Of course, the water remains still, like she isn't even there. She takes a tentative step forward, still standing upon the water, and supports her effortlessly. Her hands are slightly outstretched, as if she might lose her balance or footing and fall in. She turns around to face me.
I had an idea, actually.
Oh yeah, true. They did seem rather humanoid. They did not have legs. They'd more... humanoid with wings and almost like... dresses?
About getting out of here. Do you think that the forest spirit could help us? It's powerful, right? Maybe it could use its magic to make us humans again. We could even talk to it together. You'd seriously be welcome to come back with me and Tara. I'd like that a lot, actually.
I can't look at her. Can't meet her eyes. All I can do is nod, trying to smile and hoping that she doesn't see my tears. Oh.
I'd like that too.
What do you know, Abigail? That makes you so sure this is not possible?
Perhaps it could help. There's certainly a chance.
Insert clickbait thumbnail. Circle around Abigail. What does she know? There isn't. Her face lights up. Even the prospect of leaving makes her happy.
Great! Maybe we can plan together what the best way to ask it would be?
I just nod again. It is all I can do.
Sure.
Her voice is faltering. She is trying to keep it together. Does she know? I can't bring myself to tell her the truth. But no matter what she asks, what she says, there's no way the spirit can grant her wish. It's not just something that can't be reversed. Her mortal form was destroyed by Evelyn, just shortly after I saved her spirit. Okay, there is no finding her body. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, Madison Rains no longer exists. Neither the Forest Spirit nor I have the power to remake her. Yeah, okay, that is what she knows. Evelyn destroyed Mads' body. Hence why Evelyn is probably freaked the fuck out when she saw Mads as a ghost. There's no escape. Shit. That is terrifying. Oh, that is a really cute picture, though, of Mads, though. That is a... Whoop. Side change. Morgan. Chapter 4 hype. Let's go. Another morning. Nothing's changed. No progress. No hope. Only difference this morning is that Tara's still asleep. The first time I've woken up before her since we started sleeping together. I'm glad she's still sleeping. I can tell she needs it. I slip out of bed and dress silently. The next move should be heading to the shop. Sticking to routine is what's kept Evelyn off our backs. Let's haunt Evelyn. What can she do to us now that we're ghosts? We don't want to find that out, Manji. We don't want to find that out. Out of everyone we encountered in Eisenfeld, Evelyn saw us. Evelyn freaked the fuck out that we were here, but Evelyn saw Mads, and yeah, double ghosts. We'll find out what happens if we die twice. It's probably not good. Double ghosts. It's tier 2 ghosts. Yeah, we just renew our ghost subscription. We go tier 2, and our ghost Patreon tier. It's how deep does ghosthood go? Let's find out. Oh boy. For now, the instant I start thinking about Evelyn again, I'm hit by a powerful urge to climb back into bed and wrap my arms around Tara, hold her for a little longer. I don't. She needs her rest, and there's still some time before she leaves. Somehow thinking about that makes me feel even worse. I try to push the thoughts away, but her voice does that for me.
Oh shit, what time is it?
Good morning. She's sitting up in bed and rubbing at her eyes. She's still wearing her clothes from the night before, or at least the top half. But her sitting up doesn't mean she's actually awake.
It's still early. You can rest more.
No, it's fine. I got this.
Get
I'm
brain
just going
work.
to go spend some time in the shop so nobody comes to check in on us later today. Get some sleep. I'll be back soon.
You sure?
I move back to the bed and kiss her forehead before lowering her onto her pillow.
I'm sure. I'll wake you up when I'm back.
Okay, cool. Thanks, babe. Thanks.
Dead silence.
I know what you meant.
I'm out the door before either of us can say a word. We're still working through this whole relationship thing. Don't want to think about that right now. I just need to get to the shop. Hello there. I'm so focused on that I will slam into Evelyn the second I step outside.
No need to rush, dear.
My brain jumps into panic mode. Why is she here? She's never here in the morning. Did she come for us? Doors didn't shut all the way. I could run back inside, grab Tara, get out. That look in your eyes is terrifying. You are terrified. I am terrified. I know deep down that it's pointless to try. If she wanted us dead, we'd be dead. I don't know why she's sparing us, but if she changes her mind, we won't get a warning.
What do you want?
Her mouth curls into a frown.
Am I not supposed to take an interest in my daughter's life?
I mean...
I thought you had outgrown that phase.
We've grown right back into it. I grit my teeth. The sight of Tara's body being flung into the wall. Maddie's room in the cabin, hauntingly empty. She doesn't have the right to even pretend to be my mother.
I'm not your daughter.
Morgan!
Oh, hey. I flinch as she raises her voice. I hate letting her get a rise out of me. There's too many memories making me afraid of that sound. She just sighs and her features sink. She almost looks visibly hurt. Did her eyes sort of flash blue there for a second? Whoa, only almost. There's still something inhuman about her expression. Something I've never been able to understand. Her eyes feel more blue than normal.
You can be so cruel sometimes.
I swear at the beginning her eyes were more green?
You weren't always. When you were young, you were the sweetest thing. You would never imagine the things you say to me so casually now.
Well, at the time I thought you were my mother. Imagine my shock. I clench my fists, have to keep it together. My nails push slightly against my skin of my palm. As always, my fingers freeze before they draw blood. I'm realizing the implications of that statement. Wow, I'm realizing the implications of that statement, that innocent little sentence. Wow. That combined with what Evelyn said to Morgan earlier about the age when she realized she could no longer use scissors. Calling herself cursed. She is cursed. Evelyn is literally raising her next vessel. Yes, exactly, Lilac. She's magically prevented from hurting herself in any remote way. Even that's why she can't use scissors anymore. That sentence was terrifying enough on its own, but combined with this, yeah, she can't use scissors anymore. She can't do anything that harms herself. She's Evelyn's vessel, and Evelyn's protecting her for the sole purpose of raising her next vessel. Shit. That's ominous as hell.
I'm going to work.
My voice comes out as a rasp, and I cringe at the weakness of it. She puts her hand on my shoulder as I try to walk past. It can be. Believe me, if you're stuck and there's no way out here, wonder if that the scissors thing is also a bit of rebellion, bit of curbing rebellion, bit of you can honestly use scissors to injure yourself. You ever see Corpse Party? Yeah, scissors are quite something. But also, never discount, or the old Clock Tower games. Yeah, that's a very different sort of scissors there, but yeah, and plus, don't discount the more mundane. Don't discount the more mundane things. Care. Like, I once needed stitches after a unfortunate encounter with a butter knife. With a butter knife. Don't discount the damage you can do with a pair of scissors. A butter knife.
Work can wait, dear. I'm sure your customers will understand. I have something to show you.
Also, your eyes are definitely getting bluer.
I thought since you were so desperate to see in my office, I could give you a little glimpse of what I keep in there.
A butter knife, yeah. It was not my proudest moment, Manji. Evelyn drops her hand, her lips twisting into a sickeningly sweet smile.
If you're not interested, however, I'm sure your American friend would be eager to join me.
Oh, my blood freezes. I want to hit her. I want to scream at her. I'm not sure if it's fear or the curse she's placed on me that keeps me rooted to the spot. I can't even look up at her. She knows she's won, as she always has. I can feel her eyes on me as she waits me to follow her. A moment passes and she makes a sound of affirmation. She turns away.
Now come with me, dear.
Huh? I figure out where we're heading after a couple of minutes of walking. The forest. If she's taking me in there, then this could be it. Uh-oh.
Ah, here we are.
Huh? Look back to the house for what I hope isn't the last time. What's going to happen if Tara wakes up and can't find me? What if she never sees me again?
Tara.
I mutter her name under my breath. Some dumb and childish part of me hopes that she heard it somehow. It's better that she's not here, but I still wish she was.
What was that, dear?
Uh-oh.
Nothing.
I ought to thank your friend. She's made motivating you so much easier. It's nice to see you caring about someone other than yourself for once. I'd almost think you were finally growing up, if you weren't so stubbornly holding on to your teenage rebelliousness.
I don't say anything. I keep my face blank. 1, 2, breathing. She pays me no mind. Where are we going? Walk into the forest, past the initial tree line, into its depths. At least I know where we are. Or I thought I did. As we keep on walking, I realize that I don't know where we are at all. I don't recognize any of this. The trees are different. These aren't the ones I know. They aren't even the ones I saw when we started walking. I've walked this path dozens of times. There's no way I'm making a mistake. The branches blot out the sun even more than usual, and the shadows seem to blend around Evelyn. I can hear the creaking of old wood in the darkness. It almost sounds like the trees are moving. I've never seen the forest before. I've never seen the forest behave like this. I've never seen anything behave like this. As we walk, Evelyn keeps turning her head to glance at me, probably trying to see how scared I am. Don't let my expression waver. I won't let her in. She won't win this one. The things around me don't even look like trees anymore. They're too gnarled and rotten. They twist into shapes that should be impossible. They form walls around us as we walk, pushing us forward. Can't help drawing it in on myself. It's like the whole forest is closing in around us. It's getting harder to breathe. I feel like I'm about to be crushed by the forest itself. God, Abby was talking about the forest almost being a life in and of itself. It's like almost like it's a defense mechanism of the forest, trying to close in around this awful being, Evelyn, walking into it. Just when I think I can't take it anymore, we break into a clearing. Oh! In the center of the clearing is a beautiful, radiant tree. It's actually green. Real, brilliant green needles. The trunk is so thick and sturdy that the bark makes it look armor-plated. Hello! We were just here with Mads and Abigail. The rich scent of pine fills the air. And the shadows around us are kept at bay by a shimmering gold light. I can breathe again. Crisp, clear air fills my lungs. The awful sensations of the twisted forest are all but forgotten. Reach out my hand to it, but only reach. Something inside me tells me that I'm not supposed to touch it, that I'm not even supposed to be here.
What is this?
She ignores me, or at least I think she does. I don't turn around to look at her. I'm too transfixed by the tree ahead of me. I don't know how long I stand there staring. After some time, I notice the air around me change. My limbs begin to numb almost immediately. When I look back at Evelyn, she's glowing, an oily shimmer all over her body. And she's smiling at me. Smiling.
You were so peaceful, so calm. I can't remember another time when you were so relaxed. I hate to interrupt it. Really, I do. But I only have so much time to spend here.
The orange in her hair is also fading, too.
Do understand.
She starts walking toward me. That's when I see the knife in her hand. What? Oh no. I try to open my mouth to speak. I try to move my feet away from her. I can't. Completely still, impulse crashes against nature. My heart hammers in my chest. Every muscle in my body is frozen. I can't even shake.
This forest spirit. It's so young. As small as it is, the power within it is enough to melt the ice in this place, to draw you in. You love it so much, even though you'd only just met it moments ago.
Boy, I sure hope so. What could possibly go wrong in this situation, Freya? Rush of understanding fills me. The warmth, the peace in this place. A haven from the cold, and we are the intruders.
I always knew you were part of this forest. Much more than any of the others. This confirms that.
She grabs my hand and holds it up, examining my palm, running her fingers over its creases, as if it's like nothing she's ever seen before.
I thought it would make you dangerous. It didn't. It made you weaker.
Oh no. She presses the blade to my hand. My mind screams at my body, desperately trying to get my muscles to respond.
Your one chance at success, of escape. And you're weakened by it.
She laughs to herself, like she knows a joke that I'm not in on. With a swift motion, she drags the knife against my palm. I stare in horror as blood trickles and pools from the open gash. Ow!
Since you loved it so much, I wonder how it will feel for you to be the one to kill it.
My strings are cut in that moment and I fall over. The rush of sensations brush over me. All at once, the pain, the cold. I scream out, clutching my palm. I turn and try to crawl immediately, my instincts shouting at me as I fall to my knees over and over. Get up! Run! Run! But it's too late. Evelyn grabs my wrist so hard I feel like the bones are about to break, and she swings me around and presses my bloody palm to the forest spirit. Oh, God. Before I can rip my hand away, I feel a voice bursting forth from within. Oh! Pain rips forth from my chest the more I try to hold the words back. I cover my mouth with my hands and stumble back in horror. But it's too late. An unexplainable sound fills the air. A hideous groaning. I know what it is. I do. I don't want to admit it to myself, though. It's the spirit. Blackness moves up the shining green needles. The calming aura disappears completely, and it's replaced by something else. Pain. It's pain. I fall to my knees as the trunk begins twisting into itself. Bits of bark fall into the snow. The rotting blackness creeps up from within its roots, and the unsteady trunk begins to sway. Needles within wither and die. My heart is filled with its suffering. Oh, God. I hear a crackling then. A black tar seeps out from the bark, smelling of death. Morgan screams in pain and terror as the ancestral tree before her is killed. It bursts into flames.
No! 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 No!
I try to hold my mouth closed. Incantations leave my throat in a voice that's mine, but yet isn't. Evelyn's standing farther back now, watching the scene before her. Her face is contorted into a terrifying grin. She's enjoying this. The crackling grows louder. My breath catches in my chest. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Evelyn, her hands outstretched.
Don't! Stop!
The crack louder than thunder, the spirit's trunk splits in two. Beat of silence follows. Then I hear the screams. It comes from all around me. Something crying out within the woods. A shrieking, earth-shattering wail. My heart breaks. It's not something in the forest. It is the forest. Some of the trees around me are screaming in pain. I'm screaming now. I can barely hear myself through the shrieking vortex around me. I can't look. I bow my head, still screaming, as the fire burns. Even the fire feels wrong. It's cold. Freezing. Fire blooms around the tree, shooting high above the tree line. In one giant blinding burst, the tree is gone. All that's left is a circle of scorched earth. The burn is more intense than anything I've ever seen. Looks like it stretches down forever. Somewhere in my heart, I know nothing will ever grow here again. The screams start to fade. I slowly take my hands from my ears.
Thank you for being such a help, dear. Really.
That's smug. Ugh. Morgan looks back at Evelyn with gritted teeth.
You're a monster.
How funny. Your mother said the exact same thing. You really do take me.
I can't gather my thoughts enough to respond. The screams are still echoing in my mind.
Never forget this day, child. In the brief time you have left, I want you to know for certain that you don't stand a chance at changing your fate. You never have. None of you ever had. And when the time comes for you to serve as my vessel, I'll make sure the next one won't either.
That's fucked up. That is... Oh boy. She reaches out toward me, and I prepare for the worst. Good evening, I hope you get the good ending too. Yeah! All she does is pat my head and ruffle my hair. A condescending fucking gesture given all of this.
You can find your own way home, I assume. I know how much you love these words.
She gives another chuckle as she turns and walks away, heading back into the shadowy trees. She disappears into the darkness. What's left of him is me in the disgusting, burnt circle. Mind is blank, numb with shock. Quietly, slowly, one thought begins to take form. Ooh. Anger. Oh boy. Well, we've got another choice here. sure do have another choice here. What do you think, chat? Revenge, revenge, revenge. Revenge, revenge, revenge. Manji votes revenge. I'm... Determination. In favor of determination. Also, that was fucking terrifying. Holy shit, that was fucking terrifying. It's an understandable reaction, but also... Let's save again. Also, time to get fucking pissed. Are you winning? Well, we're about to decide if we're winning or not, I feel like. I do love these little, I do love these. Seeing the emotion of the choice. She'll pay for this. She's tried to break me for years, over and over again. I've never let her. I'm not going to let her do it now. I don't care how powerful she is. I don't care what she did to Maddie. She's going to pay, and Tara and I are going to make sure of it. Destroy her once and for all. We'll leave this place behind for good, together, and nothing's going to stop us. I open the front door and its weight drags me forward as I stumble inside. I prop myself up in the knob, trying to catch my breath. I can't. Tara must have heard the door because her footsteps come booming down the stairs. She doesn't fall. I'm surprised given that the last 5 times she ended up slamming into the wall. I keep telling her to be careful. This time I'm glad she isn't. Closing the door behind me, I finally manage to enter the kitchen as she rounds the corner.
Holy shit, you're okay. I thought when you didn't come home,
I'm okay. Don't worry. It wasn't anything.
I can't seem to finish my sentence. My head is swimming. I stumble again, ready to collapse to the floor.
Let's go upstairs. You need some rest. Come on.
Voice is warm, quiet, and reassuring. Can't believe it belonged to the same girl that spends her days yelling about the Loch Ness monster. But it's what I need right now.
Thank you, Tara.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. We're the dream team, remember?
We were going to work on that name, but you know what? She flashes me a very familiar, wide-mouthed, goofy grin. I can tell she's trying to distract me from the fear and worry I can see in her eyes. She's never been hard to read, but by now she's an open book. But at least she's trying. That counts.
Come on, let's get up there.
Tara holds my arms to steady me as we go up the stairs. I hate being like this. I'm not supposed to be weak. I can't be weak. I ignore the shaking in my legs and force myself to stand on my own. Even if I'm just walking to the bed to sit down, it helps.
You just sit here for a minute and relax, okay? I'll go make some coffee or something.
I thought you didn't even know how to make coffee.
Hey, I'm working on it.
That's where the or something comes in.
I'll just make some coffee or whatever comes out of it. It takes me a second to realize that I'm laughing. Everything's gone wrong, but I'm laughing. Every time I start to lose hope, she makes me laugh. She's smiling again. It's genuine this time.
I guess I'll take the risk. Thank you, Tara.
I'm not good with words. I want to kiss her, to thank her, genuinely. It's not the right time. I kiss her cheek instead. Tara hesitates, staring at Morgan blankly, her eyebrows knit together into a look of worry. She doesn't say anything. Just turns and heads for the kitchen. Maybe that was a mistake, but I don't think it was. A whirlpool of panic hits my brain the instant she leaves. It threatens to overcome me, crashing over my thoughts and pulling me deeper into its abyss. My breathing runs ragged. I close my eyes, counting to 100 as I've done so many times before, but it's not enough. The forest, Maddie, Evelyn, Tara. I try to raise my head above the water. I can't do this. For everything with Maddie, with Evelyn, Tara should have to deal with my problems too. And neither of us have time to deal with all that feelings I know we're not talking about. A bigger part of the picture than Maddie, I know what that's going to lead to. Hold it in. I'll be fine. Are you winning, Morgan? I shake my head. It's so much harder to lie to myself than it used to be. Those heavy footsteps save me from the mess in my head. Tara slips back into the room with 2 mugs of what I think is supposed to be coffee. The smell of coffee always makes me feel calm, but right now it just makes me feel sick.
Here we go. If the caffeine in this doesn't wake you up, then at least the taste will.
Hey, that's a good
As
tagline.
long as it doesn't kill me.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
No promises.
That's not comforting. But I honestly, it kind of is. Respect. I bring the mug to my lips and taste it carefully. It's not bad. Or I'm just desperate. Can't tell. Either way, I keep drinking it.
So, what happened out there? Did she hurt you?
Not physically. Well, yes, physically.
Not really. She just went on about how I can't do anything to her. It wasn't anything serious.
It felt pretty serious.
Bullshit.
Ooh. I want to tell her not to worry, but I can't. Evelyn's laughter rattles around in my head the second I open my mouth. I place the already empty mug of coffee on my desk. I hear Tara's sharp intake of breath behind me, and I spin around, my heart racing. Fear and worry reflect in her eyes as her gaze slips between my face and my hand. Good point, Monty. If Tara made killer coffee, would Morgan even be able to drink it, considering she's magically forced to not self-harm? Yeah. That's an yeah. That's an interesting thought. Maybe that's why Morgan survives Tara's coffee. I look down at my own palm, still bleeding gently. It throbs now that I'm looking at it. Everything that's happened, I've forgotten about it. Tara reaches forward and holds my hand between her own, applying a gentle pressure to it. Concern is more than I can handle. I can't lie to her.
I'm sorry, Tara. We've already got so much to worry about. I didn't want to give you more.
I want to look out for you, Morgan. I can take it.
The 2 of us sit silently for what feels like an eternity. Every sentence I try to form falls apart the moment I open my mouth. The screaming echoes in my head. So why not Mother pretty much hijacked my body and used me to murder a spirit of the woods with some creepy fairy sorcery. Eventually I do it.
And then I couldn't stop. I was killing it.
Tara rubs my hand, staying quiet as I continue talking. I feel my eyes stinging the more I speak, but I have to hold it together.
It was burning. It was burning and dying. It was like the entire forest felt it. I couldn't stop the magic no matter what I did. And after everything was said and done, Evelyn, she
laughed. I feel a tightness in my chest. I've never spoken like this before to anyone, not even to Gilladura.
She told me my real mother was just like me.
I can't bring myself to continue. Voicing the implications out loud would make them more real than they already are. My real mother is gone, and whatever similarities we bore mean nothing now. All that matters is that she lost.
Shit, Morgan,
The stinging's getting worse.
She probably doesn't know how much we know. If she's trying to scare you, that means she's really scared of us. Her pulling weird shit in the forest isn't gonna change anything.
She can't understand. How do I tell her about the screams of the forest? That black fire?
The trees were...
I cut myself off. What am I doing? I told myself I wasn't going to let this get to me, and here I am, already about to lose it. I have to keep it together.
You're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have made such a big deal out of it.
It's okay to lose it. Sometimes you have to lose it to be able to put it back together. Stronger than before.
Hey, that's not what I meant. I want to hear what you have to say.
She sits down next to me. Stinging in my eyes isn't going away, no matter how many times I try to blink it back.
You know I'm not the best at, saying stuff. Or knowing how to say stuff.
Big mood.
Isn't that your job?
Hey, it's the private emotional stuff here.
Yeah, but do I ever look like I know what I'm doing?
Fair. Mood. She holds my hand as I chuckle.
You've got a point. But I'm okay, I promise. It was just some cheap scare tactic. I wouldn't let something like that beat me. Like Like you said, this is just a sign that we're on the right track.
All we can do is cling on to that hope, I suppose.
Because everyone else before us failed, that doesn't mean that...
Morgan.
Huh?
Oh, you're crying.
You're crying.
Oh.
What? No, I'm not.
Inch by inch, I reach up and touch my cheek. It's wet. Can't be crying. My eyes are still stinging. I've been holding it back.
It's okay. You can cry.
I told you, I'm not...
My voice cuts off as I let out a choked sob. Yeah.
I'm not...
I can't hold it back any longer. I let it go. Tears flow down my face for the first time in years. Each one burns my skin like a tiny, painful reminder of how pathetic I'm being. Oh no. I desperately try to wipe the tears away, even though I know it's pointless. They just keep coming. I squeeze my eyes shut instead in hopes that I will somehow force the tears back in. But then once again I feel Tara's arms around me. She squeezes me so hard that I start thinking she's trying to wring the tears out of me.
Let it out. You know I've got you.
I let it out. I throw my arms around her and rest my head against my shoulder. All I can do is hope that the fabric muffles my sobs. She rubs my back slowly and presses her lips to my forehead. I already feel like I'm burning inside, but her warmth is different. Soothing. My whole body shakes against Tara. She doesn't flinch. She doesn't say anything. She just holds me close. This isn't the girl I spent years watching yell about monsters on the internet. This isn't even the girl that stepped off the train a few weeks ago. Something about being here changed her. As I cling to her for dear life, I realize that it changed me, too. I can feel my tears start to slow when that thought crosses my mind. I'm finally able to catch my breath. Tara's grip loosens on me as I stop shaking. She takes her lips off my forehead. I have to fight the urge to pull her back down. Pull away and sit up instead. It's nice to be able to wipe my cheeks and actually have them stay dry. Yet her now I can see that Tara's face is stained with tears too. It's my fault. Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, it's cool. I don't think anyone on Earth or anywhere else would say you don't deserve a minute to get it all out there.
If you say so.
For what it's worth, I think you stand a way better chance than any of the people that came before you. After all, you've got one thing they don't.
You got me.
What's that?
She breaks into another massive grin. The tear streaks on her face can't hope to tarnish. I know what she's going to say before she even brings out the finger guns.
Me, obviously.
Boom! There it is. Straight to the heart. I start to chuckle before bursting into laughter. Real, full laughter. Every now and then a sob slips in. I don't mind as much anymore. As always, she knew how to make me feel better.
My incredibly humble savior.
As always.
Hey, if I can't stay on brand even under the threat of death, I don't deserve to be popular.
Hang on a minute, I need to screenshot this scene here. It's very important to me. Very good.
I love that about you.
I clamp my mouth shut the instant the words leave it. Don't know where that came from. Tara's expression makes it clear that she doesn't either.
Thanks.
Oh.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, learn how to love. Working through these feelings. We love to see it. Even under all this, we'd love to see it. We look away from each other. I'll do my best to focus on anything in the room that will hold my attention.
Hey, can I say something?
When I look back up at her, I can see that her entire face is bright red.
As much as I love to joke, I'm 100% serious about you having something that they didn't have. More than one thing, actually.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you're really brave. Like, the bravest person I've ever met. You're smart, too. Hell of a lot smarter than I am.
Oh.
You're...
She squashes her face up in that cute way. She always does when she's trying to figure out what to say next. Which means I've seen a lot of it.
You're all the things that I act like I am.
Oh.
You're smart, you're brave, you're strong. You're not afraid to fight back against bullshit. You're beautiful, you're capable. You've been through a ton of bad shit all your life, and you're still fighting, even against things nobody else out there believes. I spend nearly every day of my life thinking about the strangest things in the world, and I still couldn't have imagined someone like you really existing.
I hadn't watched her ramble for years, and I'm sure by now she'd be incomprehensible. But I can hear every word. I can feel my heart beating fast with each one.
And you're just really awesome and fun to be around, and being here with you is one of the best things that's ever happened to me, and I don't want this to end, and I'm...
You're in love with me.
Oh, just say it. Say it, Tara.
I'm in love with you!
Boom. I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe you just said that. Wait, did I just... And she said... We both sit in stunned silence. I try to tell myself that I don't know where that came from. Another lie. I've known for a while now. Just like I know that I...
Look, I'm really sorry. I know we agreed from the start that we wouldn't catch feelings. I swear I've never had this happen before.
But things just happen. She's a mess. But she's a mess I'm in love with. Panic ensues. Yes, panic ensues. Oh no, it's... We have very much had that panic. It is the... They very much had that panic. I should say, Tara had that panic years ago and long grew past it. It is the romantic panic. It is the love panic that we're in here right now.
I get if you're upset, and I'm sorry for bringing us up now while we've still got this other shit going on. And when this is over, I can just leave, and I won't make a big deal about any of it, and we can just go back to living our own separate lives.
Aww! I grab her cheeks and pull her face toward mine before she even realizes I've moved. Bring her lips together hard and kiss her in a way I never have before. I don't know how to describe it. Romance panic, even worse. Love panic. Like, Tara has admitted to, and Mads has also described, that having lots of flings and one-night stands and all that Tara has had in the past. But... And this initially started out that way. But, yeah. Like she said, she has caught the feels. She has caught the... I just know it's something new. We've kissed plenty of times, but this isn't like any of those. Isn't like any kiss I've ever had with anyone. It's healing. It's grounding. It's incredible. It only takes a second before she kisses back, hard. She grabs me again, and I can feel her hands moving along the length of my body. It's like she's looking for handholds. I realize in the back of my mind that this is the first time we've had a kiss this deep without one of us putting their tongue in the other's mouth. I'd laugh if I did have more important things to do with my mouth. We do have to stop for breath eventually. All we do is blow hot air in each other's faces for a split second before coming back together. This is too good to let it end so soon. One of us is crying, and it better not be me. It's you. It's both of you. You both are. You know what? We break to gasp for air.
I love you too, obviously.
Tara plants small kisses on my bottom lip as I speak.
Yeah, I kinda figured.
Saying it out loud feels incredible. It's like dropping weights I've been carrying for miles. I can feel everything Evelyn took from me coming back in force.
I guess I really do have you after all.
Damn straight. With an air of finality, we break apart, but remain close. Tara presses her forehead to mine and nuzzles my nose. Tara is blushing hard, looking at Morgan, determined.
I'm not going to let her hurt you. I promise.
I know.
We're gonna beat this thing, Morgan. We're gonna kick Evelyn's ass, and we're gonna save my best friend.
Hell yeah.
And when we leave the shitty village behind for good, I want you to come with us.
Yeah!
Of course.
I'm still not able to match her level of confidence. I love her, but this doesn't magically guarantee things will be okay. I'll keep trying to get there, though.
So, what does this make us?
What do you mean?
Are we, like, dating? Or...
I've never gotten this far before, Tara thinks, so I don't know exactly what to call this.
I mean, it's been a while since I've done something like this, and this isn't exactly a normal dating scenario.
I know what she's trying to say. We don't know what's around the corner yet.
I don't know. Not that it's anything against you, of course.
We'll figure it out.
I love you a lot. I don't doubt that for a second. But I don't know if I can put a name on that love right now. Not with everything else we're dealing with.
And here I always thought fighting an ancient evil monster would be the perfect setting for asking someone out.
Obviously. You should sound mad. That's a good sign. We are winning.
Maybe, if everything turns out okay, we could give it a shot. Putting a name on it, I mean.
She cranes her neck up towards me and kisses my cheek.
Saving it for after we kick some ass, huh? I can dig it.
Hell yeah.
So, what does that make us? For right now, I mean.
The Dream Team,
Just
obviously.
be people who love each other. Stay friends the way we are right now, but in love.
Hey, sometimes friends are in love with each other. And you know what? We love to see it.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I do have one question, though.
Shoot.
Can we kiss more often now?
That works for me.
I already know she's about to kiss me, but I beat her there. My lips meet hers on the way up. A squeak of surprise melts away as we hold each other. Aw. I'm still afraid. I'm still uncertain. But this helps. She helps. Thank you, Tara, for everything. Boy, I hope nothing bad happens and this inevitably comes to a head. Sighed Maddie. Been a weird morning. Usually when I get up, Abigail's awake and ready to go, and usually she has been for several hours. This morning, though, I awoke to find her dozing nearby, long past when she'd normally be up. She complained about having a headache, so we decided to take a walk through the forest to clear her head. So far, it seems to have had the opposite effect, though, and we've been walking in uncomfortable silence. It's been maybe an hour or so ago when we first noticed the buzzing. Fairy wings. At first, it was faint, like the sound of wind or the rustling trees, but then it started to get louder and louder.
Fairies!
It's the first word she's said in ages. She pulls me closer to her as the buzzing gets closer. Sure enough, the source of the noise comes into view. Dozens of fairies, maybe even as many as 100, flutter past overhead. They form a cloud rushing through the forest, nimbly weaving over and under the branches. When I first saw fairies back in the clearing, their movements were graceful and delicate, but now they're frenetic and urgent. Something horrible happened in these woods recently. Something very horrible happened in these woods. The swarm travels right toward us, though they don't seem to notice or care about us at all. Their buzzing has grown to an almost ear-splitting level, and I realize it comes from their wings. Like bees, their tiny wings beat rapidly to keep them up. They are blur against the fairies' snowy-looking bodies. Suddenly, several of the fairies split off from the rest and dive toward us. I flick up my hands to protect myself, but they come to a halt overhead. Hello, friends. This is my first chance to get a good look at them. Oh, they don't. They have their dresses. They just kind of come to a tail? Their bodies are smooth and pale blue with a whitish tinge. Their eyes are beady and small, looking more like tiny flecks of obsidian than anything with sight. First it looks like they're wearing gowns, but then I realize that what looks like clothes are parts of their body. Colorful plumage helps make each fairy distinct from one another. Rather than legs, their bodies taper off into a point, like little ballerinas. Like snowflakes, no two look the same. One of them turns a somersault while the others hover anxiously.
Our queen!
What?
Is that you?
What?
Have you returned?
What now? Their voices are all identical, squeaky and raspy, yet impressively loud, despite their tiny size. It takes a second to realize that they're addressing me.
I'm sorry. I'm not your queen. I'm just an ordinary human.
A human? Ordinary? Don't think so.
What? They crowd in a little bit closer, their fingers grabbing the empty air as if to pick me up and carry me away. Take a step backwards, with Abigail still holding tight to my arm, but the fairies just creep in even closer.
I promise, I'm just a regular person. You're mistaken if you think I'm your queen.
The wings beat hummingbird fast, distractingly loud.
A mistake? Have you seen her? We've been looking.
We haven't seen her. We haven't seen anything like her.
We don't really know what a fairy queen looks like. I have no idea what a fairy queen looks like, but I'm sure I haven't seen anything that fits the description.
How long has she been missing?
It's hard to say. Did you know?
They do seem quite charming.
Time is a human concept.
Okay. I like the variation in their wings I'm just noticing now. Their answers aren't helpful at all. They at least understood my question, which means they have some knowledge of time. It doesn't make a difference, though. The rest of the swarm has moved on, the buzzing fading once again, but they don't seem bothered.
If we see her, I'll be sure to tell her you're looking.
That won't be needed.
Huh?
She surely knows. That's why she's our queen.
I do like how they alternate sentences in quick succession. The fairy's peculiar way of speaking in turn is almost comical. Since they haven't left us alone yet, I assume that they're still expecting or hoping for something. I'm a little afraid to find out what.
Do the three of you have names?
We don't. We have no need. Names are for humans, too.
Names are a human concept. They all nod in unison. Even how everything else about them seems to be insect-like, I just assume that they have a hive mind of sorts. It would fit in with everything else I know about the forest. I'm getting a bit tired of all the different networks and connections. It's silly, but it feels like a little like not knowing the password to a friend's Wi-Fi. To help keep them straight in my head, I give them each a name. The one with the purple flower is Hag, Anan has the blonde hair, and the last one is Freya. Okay. Beside me, Abigail tugs at my sleeve surreptitiously. She's angled away from the conversation, trying to lead me out of it. She's concerned. I turned back to the fairies, putting on my best customer service voice.
We have to go now. It was nice to meet you. I hope you're able to find your queen soon.
I don't want to turn my back on them, so I wait for them to say their farewells and leave. But instead, they come in even closer, causing Abigail to gasp.
Don't go! What if you stayed? You could be our queen. You would do.
What?
We could make it so.
Oh no.
It would be easy.
Alarm bells ringing in my head. I start to step backwards, with Abigail keeping right on me.
There isn't anyone else. Not everyone is suitable. But you are.
Why am I?
Let us show you what it'd be like.
What?
We can give you a taste.
What?
Would that be all right?
I don't know. This is too soon. The buzzing and flittering slows as three pairs of eyes stare at us. Abigail squeezes my arm. This is bad news bears. I move my mouth to say no, but the way their gaze pierces into me roots me to the spot. Like tiny dancers adorned with glitter. Their skin shimmers in the low light of flittering through the clouds.
Medicine. Come on. Let's go.
But I can't. Or rather, I don't want to. Not yet.
What if I know something useful, Abigail?
We know lots of things.
Uh-oh.
Secret things. Clever things.
Uh-oh.
We can know you, too.
That also sounds ominous. They're pests. Their buzzing is a little too loud and their voice is a little too shrill. But
You don't belong here. We can tell. But wouldn't you like to belong?
Here? They creep a little bit closer in synchronized motion, staring at me haughtily. They're close enough now that I could reach out and grab what I wanted to, or slap them away. I don't, though. Place to belong. Could they really offer that?
What exactly do you mean?
I can feel Abigail's grip tighten around my coat, but she doesn't say anything. Sensing an opening, the fairies circle dizzyingly around our heads.
The forest doesn't reject you.
Dizzyingly indeed.
But it doesn't accept you either.
Okay.
We could change that, though.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Whatever it is you want! Whatever you're searching for, If you help us. Would you like that?
With a jolt, I turned to face Abigail. I'm sure she knows what I'm thinking. Whatever I want, there's only one thing. Freedom. Abigail stares back at me for a moment, then presses herself against me. Looking up at the fairies, I nod.
Okay. Just a taste.
Oh! Excited, they dive downwards until they're level with my face. Abigail cringes, but doesn't let go. At once, the fairies close in, placing their hands on my face like they're checking my temperature. Their hands are frigid, painfully so. It's amplified by the fact that I haven't felt cold in days. My hands jerk upwards out of instinct, ready to pry them away, but I don't. Then, one of the fairies moves their hands to cover my lips. One covers my ears, and the other covers my eyes. For a split second, I feel like I'm falling through the air. And then it all hits me.
All I see is black.
Oh?
I'm alone. And yet, hundreds of presences flood my consciousness all at once. I can tell they're the fairies, but I don't know how I can tell. I'm bombarded by their awareness like tiny darts, not using words or thoughts or intentions, but just feeling. They're somehow distant, as if behind a wall, but so present. I try to find the semi-familiar presences of Hay, Frio, and Élan, but they're indistinguishable from the rest. There's no individuality, no sense of identity at all. They're just the fairies as a whole. But I can feel what they're feeling. Panic and anger and hurt all churned together. The feeling of being lost, of not knowing where to go or what to do, but not being able to sit still. Though I can't tie it to any particular memory or event, the feeling hits me so strongly, so undiluted that I think I might cry. I can feel that they've been scared by something, but I don't know what that something is. Then, at last, I feel a nudge within my mind. The sensation of being noticed. The presence takes me in, welcoming me. It occurs to me that I no longer exist. I try to ask what's going on, but I don't need to. The moment the question forms, the presence with me starts to answer. Images play in my head, ones I've never seen before. They're grainy like an old film. If I try to focus on a particular detail, the whole thing becomes muddy.
Welcome to the Feybind.
I can see flames burning away at the forest. The fire is so real that I can almost feel its warmth. But when I start to focus on it, that too vanishes. The presence of the fairies weighs on my mind, an uninvited audience to the next part. I can see a fairy stumbling alone, but something's wrong with it. I realize instantly, I can't feel its presence. Where it should be, there's just a gaping hole, so vast and profound that it hurts by sheer exclusion.
Excluded from the Feybind?
It's agonizing. I want to tear my heart out of my chest so I don't have to feel it anymore. The presence of the fairies, the whole nest, tries to reach out after it and fill the hole, but it won't allow itself to be touched. The moonlight overhead, which I crave, falls onto the lone fairy who hastens to escape it. The lone fairy flees, and the rest of us mourn. One word pulses through my head, both a condemnation and reassurance. One word, though I don't know what it means. Moonsick. 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 The vision twists, and I can see a woman. But she isn't a woman. She's also a fairy, but not just. I'm so happy and relieved to see her that I just know she's the fairy queen. I can feel how much she misses the lone fairy. I know, because I miss her too. Desperately. I can see her searching, her hope never fading, until one day, she's gone. The loss is even greater this time. A sick mixture of guilt and shame plagues me, because I don't know where she is. I don't even know how long she's been missing. How could I have not noticed? The loneliness is so great that I want to do anything to erase it. Another silhouette flickers, just out of sight, but I can't keep track of it. We all have to watch it together, and then I realize it's me. But just like the fairy queen I saw before, it's also not me. Visions of time pass, months, years, centuries, and throughout all of them, all of the loneliness is gone. It all feels right. I could fix this.
The fairies removed their hands from me, and I burst back into the real world with a mighty gasp for air. Did we just get gaslit?
Madison, are you alright?
That might be a bit harsh way of putting that, but we got submerged in their emotions. The fairies dart back up, away from the furious glare that Abigail gives them. I can feel now as her hand clutching me, and I put my arm over on her shoulder for support. My head spins, and for a second I think I might fall over. The dizzy spell passes soon. Once I'm confident I'm not going to collapse, I nod.
I'm fine. How long was I out?
Abigail's face flickers into a look of confusion. She presses her hand to my forehead.
Out? I didn't think they'd even begun.
What?
I watch the fairies, struggling to comprehend how so much could have happened in an instant like that. There's no way.
We told you, didn't we? We aren't bound by time.
Time is a human concept.
Join us and you won't be either.
I don't know if I want that.
Now that you've seen, and now that you've felt, will you join us?
Eyes wide, Abigail looks up at me. She doesn't have to say anything for me to know she's begging for me to decline. Wish you could have felt how warm it was. How nice it was to belong like that. Yet at the same time, it feels like a distant dream now. Something detached and fading. I try to remember the sensation, but I can't. It's water slipping through my fingers. It seemed so real, but it wasn't. It was only a second. I can't sign my life away to the fairies for 1 second of visions. No matter how right it felt. No matter how comfortable. I'm sure that I was just seeing what they wanted me to see. Okay, yeah, we were kind of being gaslit there a little bit. I smile at Abigail, then shake my head, rejecting the fairies.
I'm sorry, but I can't. Thank you for showing me what it would be like, though.
How can we persuade you?
Oh.
We need our queen soon.
Soon?
You could be our only hope.
I know you do. But I'm sorry. That just can't be me.
We hope you'll change your mind. We'll be waiting for you. We'll be waiting for a queen.
We'll be waiting for a queen. With that, they turn tail and dart off in the same direction that their swarm had gone. Soon, all trace of them was gone, like they'd never even been here. Oh gosh.
Madison, are you sure you're all right?
Yeah, I'm sure. It was just a lot. Was that really that fast?
Yes. They touched your face and then a moment later you gasped.
That's insane. It felt like a long time. Like years had passed.
Abigail looks troubled, staring off into the forest where the fairies disappeared. Fairy magic is strange and beyond me. They're similar to the forest spirit, and yet...
Different, but in a way you can't put into words.
That's right. You certainly did see a lot, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. Have you ever met their queen? Or seen what she looks like?
Just once, long ago. She and the forest spirit are both guardians of the forest. Did you see her in your vision?
I think back to what I saw, as best as I can remember. The image shifts and shakes in my head. Not wanting to be called to mind. More than what she looked like, I just remember how I felt. So happy and relieved to see her.
I did, but I didn't get a clear look at her. I knew who she was, but I don't know if I'd recognize her if I passed her on the street. Do you think you could mistake me for her, like they did?
Absolutely not. You're much prettier than she is.
Ooh. Abigail says it very matter-of-factly. She didn't just give me an enormous compliment. And she carries on like it, too. Be still, my beating heart.
But to the fairies, I expect it's hard for them to tell the difference between humans. So maybe you looked like her to them.
Dang it, I missed most of it. Oh, twin! And we're just right at the end, too.
I wonder how long the Queen's been gone. It seems like they'd been coping just fine without her, until something happened to scare them.
It is, yeah. It's been quite a night.
Something like what?
Something hot and bright, something burning, something that hurt to think about.
I don't know. I think it had to do with fire, maybe? So much of what I saw felt real, but most of it wasn't.
Fire.
Worry creases her face.
What's wrong? Did you remember something?
No. It was just a thought.
Rather than elaborate, she fidgets with her hands. I don't push the subject.
Maybe that's enough fresh air for today. We can head back to the church.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I detect a hint of relief in her voice. The first time I lead the way home. At least, I hope it's the way. I'm reasonably confident. At my side, Abigail remains calm, quiet, and lost in her thoughts. With one hand, she clings limply to my sleeve, trusting my navigation. I don't disturb her. Instead, concentrating on remembering the path. It's to challenge myself. I'm sure that if necessary, Abigail would be able to lead us home from anywhere. Still, I'm beginning to fear that I've led us astray when the grim walls of the church start to come into view. A mixture of relief and pride flows through me. It's also a little bittersweet. Come to think of the church as home, even though I never felt that way about the cabin. Despite the fact that the concept of home is just a formality now. Surrounding ourselves with walls and a roof doesn't change a whole lot. Clouds are beginning to settle overhead, muting the daylight, and making everything murky. It feels fitting for the mood. Abigail speeds up a bit as we reach the doors, and she's the first one inside. She sits down on one of the benches, fatigued. I think at this point, this is a good point. We're going to leave those saves alone. Those are very important saves. Remind me to keep the saves in slot 9. Very, very safe, because these are decisions. These are saves at decisions, which are probably going to be very important. We will keep these saves quite safe. Instead, we will